Baby, all I need I was just laughing.
No!
There we
Like,
go. You waited that late to tell him.
I totally
If
forgot.
he didn't, what would he have done? Like, all right, 5 seconds before we start, and you got everything right. It's like, what?
I totally forgot, dude, until 5 seconds. It was like, hurry, put another 10 minutes on the clock.
Oh
Just
my God.
refresh.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Well,
God.
hello everybody. Welcome. We're a bunch of professionals here. We got everything covered.
Damn
Everything's
right.
under control. But welcome to our Tower of God ranking stream on the last station. We're super excited to be here. It's just funny because 5 seconds before we started, Ian was like, "Wait, so you have moments, right? Like you everything planned? Yeah, we're fine. Everything's fine. Calm down. Everything's fine. All right. So." Today we're breaking down characters, abilities, moments, and fights for the last station arc of Tower of God, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Basically, we're just kind of gonna spitball, go back and forth. Actually, hold on, let me play some music here. There we go. So normally we, for the last one that we did, the last two, we split it. We were planning on splitting it up into video segments, but we're gonna try just doing it as a live stream. You know, just sort of going one after another, the next topic and the next topic. And then we're just gonna go from there. You know, it's gonna be more chill, less really planned or whatever, but just kind of having some fun. But first of all, I'm joined today by the AoA guys, Isaiah and Ian. Welcome, you two. We're happy to have you, as always.
Thank you.
Guys, what's your opinion on the last station? We never really talked about that, but overall, like before we go into it, like what did you think of the arc?
It's mid.
No,
Thanks
I
for watching,
think
everybody.
there is.
We're not here.
We're no longer collabing. There is an immense amount of Chadliness exhumed in this arc. Like some of the most that we've seen up until we caught up, because this is like huge scale battle. This is the point when we're getting these high rankers as an absolute norm.
Right.
Just clashing head to head, and we get this again now with the on the 52nd floor where, you know, the story is currently, but there was a little bit of a lull between that with getting, you know, the K9 people on board and Yama's arc and all that kind of stuff, and so yeah, I mean, like hop, skip, and a jump, and we're there again. But this was the first arc, in my opinion, where it was like, this is like, okay, we're like really large scale now. We're pulling out every single badass, you know, like Yvonne Kell, Caliban, Jin Sung was there, at least, you know, in his own spot. Sorry. Han Sung came for the ride. You know, there was like a lot going on. Cheon Hee and all that. So
I also feel like it was a really good place to end season 2. Like I know there's like some people say, or I don't know if it was like gonna be a thing where like SIU didn't know if he was just gonna end the season there or if he was gonna end like just that arc and then keep it going.
Yeah.
But I actually think like, I don't know, narratively and like literally like the way it ends with like Bambi, you know, having to learn to become a much stronger and more like, you know, a hunter basically, right? A more aggressive.
Yeah.
Like I actually think, and like that whole I just think it wraps up like really well as far as the season. And I don't know, it's very, you know, obviously my only one complaint is that like, I do personally feel like the Jin Sung Ha moment hit a little less, only because like it really felt like they were going for a death, and then like at the last second they're like, oh, just kidding, he's actually alive. And I'm like, all right, I get it, like you want to do something with him later, but it's like it did take it away just a little bit for me.
No,
but other than that, like Ian said, really dope fights, a lot of like strong players in the game, and yeah, it was dope to see some people, you know, go all out.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'm of the mind that like it would have hit more if he died, but I'm wondering, like, he kept him around for a reason, so I want to see, like, I'm sort of holding off and to say, like, okay, so what is going to happen? So, for example, one theory I have is that during the nest, they're going through all this trouble to save Jin Sung, everybody's getting involved. What if he freaking dies? Like, what if they rescue him and then he, like, jumps in to save Bomb? Like, imagine the devastation it would do. You know what I'm saying?
That would suck.
It would suck. And, like,
that would really
you may
suck.
say it's worthless, but, like, that's war. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering what SIU has in store. Or, like, if they save Jin Sung, who's going to die to save him? You know what I mean?
And it would probably be fucked too, because it would probably make Karaka be like, I don't got no reason to hang out with Bam anymore, and just start killing everybody. And it's like, oh fuck, dude, come on, like,
come on,
we had a whole
Karaka.
good thing going here with, I mean, like White was probably gonna betray us, but Karaka could have been a homie, bro. Fuck.
That's so true.
yeah, they could just kill him.
Yeah. Also, I could totally see some people who like joined up on Bam's side to be like, yes, I'll help you save your master. It's like, what do you mean he's dead? You mean the dude that you mean the dude that always he's dead?
Right.
Oh my God.
But I actually had a thing to go to. I had a brunch. It was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I was kind of here for Jinsung.
One way or another, the last station. I mean, it's someone in the chat, Panape, says it the best. You could say this is where things go off the rails, literally. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Get it? Because the train, like, okay. Anyway, so yes, so today, all right.
I'm not gonna lie.
No,
pretty good.
I don't get it.
The last station, things go off the rails.
Because the train gets freaking like stopped. And Panapa, you're
okay,
too big
okay.
brain for Isaiah. All right, so anyway,
Went right over my head.
so guys, don't forget to like the stream, or if you're watching this as a VOD later, don't forget to like the VOD, because we're gonna have some fun today, you know. And we also have some intermissions planned, and I gotta say, the trivia questions that we've created for you guys, I think some of them are kind of top tier. I think I'm gonna throw some of you guys off, and I'm freaking excited to see who I trick, because it's gonna be freaking fun. Honestly, that's like the only reason I do these streams. I just want to see who gets fooled.
It literally is. I've never seen Joe like just so happy when he's like, "Oh, I got him."
Yeah, we'll get to the list, and it's like, we're gonna put on for top fights, and Joe's like, I don't care, just call me when it's done. Like, all right, so for the questions, Joe's like, oh, all right, now we're into the meat and potatoes here.
This
I
is
want
what
to
I
fuck
want
with
to
these
talk
people.
about. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of reasons. Anyway, so I see we freaking get started. Let's do some fights. So
Let's do it.
First on the chopping block, we're talking about the last station fights. So the five that we have here, the five that we decided on ranking, were Jinsung versus Calavan, Bomb versus Calavan, Yuri versus Chonhee Ha, and then we have Evankel versus Sharon plus the squad, like the 4th squadron, and then White versus Dorian Frog and the other rankers, that little squad. So those are the 5 fights we have, and just to clarify, we're going off of emotional impact, spectacle, choreography, and a little sprinkle of hype in there. That's sort of what we're going off of. So, guys, should we go from bottom to top or top to bottom? What do you think?
Oh man, if anyone has some hot takes, just throw them out there. I'm an old man, so I got to refer to my notebook here if you need it as well, just to line up with everything. So Jinsung versus Calavan, Bomb versus Calavan.
Yep.
That's
Yuri.
the picture of Calavan is Bomb versus Calavan.
Right, sorry. I couldn't find a good.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're good. I'm just trying to.
That is
just
the bomb.
Yeah, don't let it happen again. No,
First one. Everybody gets one.
You know what?
All right. So then Jinsung and Calavan, Yuri, Chonhee. Who's the one with
That's Sharon.
White versus
Dorian Frog.
Oh, Sharon.
The fourth one's Sharon. The 5th one is White versus Dorian Frog.
Oh, who's Sharon fighting? Who's that? Sharon versus.
Evankel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sharon versus and then White.
Yeah,
versus
Captain
Dorian.
Marvel versus
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, Sharon is kinda the bomb, bro. I was reading through these last chapters to collect the panels, bro. Sharon, freaking, oh, dude. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Okay. So right off the bat,
So I was thinking of putting her 5.
you know,
I'm not gonna lie.
we're already expecting.
Yeah.
all right. So
I
the only
actually
reason that I would
disagree. Go
say
ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say White and Dorian as
I
5.
was fucking with you.
Only because it's like so much shorter and like less of a fight, or it's actually the least fight on this list here. Like it is a fight, they do like go back, but like White kind of just poops out his really strong attack and then goes to sleep.
I mean, it is pretty much what happens.
Which, you know, at least in comparison to something like the Sharon and Evankel fight, it like, you know, to be fair, it's not like Sharon and Evankel are trading, you know, like blow for blow like a Jinsung Calavan thing level,
Sure.
but they are going back and forth a significant amount, and neither one of them kind of just gets like, you know, iced out of the fight. Like, I don't know, these White ones are tricky for me because they, you know, White has this thing of like, he has such a climactic buildup and then he gets into the fight, and until he gets into his final form, it's just like, yeah. All right. Like,
And that's it. And then they're all dead.
It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
No, that is true. That's a good point. Like every time White fights, it's like it's not usually a long, drawn-out, crazy battle until like season 3. That's like the first time, really, I'd say. Other than that, it's him just annihilating everybody. By the way, I switched the picture. Are you happy? All right, boom, there we go. The bomb picture is now Bomb versus Calavan. All right, let's move on.
She was like, "No, it's cool, dude. Like, honestly, I didn't really care." Mute his mic. Goddamn. Can you move your power rate?
So-
I can't see the. Yeah, just tape it in my head.
So, okay, the thing about the Sharon fight that I really like is that Sharon and Evankel, you think it's gonna be Evankel just completely wrecking this group. It's particularly Sharon who fights, but Elpathion is sitting back and he's like containing all the flames like the whole time, you know? Gotta give a shout out to Elpathion, but Sharon freaking, she summons her fairy swords, she breaks Evenkel's weapon, and Evenkel's like, oh shoot, like I didn't, you know, and then Evenkel's like, dang, I'm surprised. She literally breaks her sword, Evenkel's sword. And then we get the whole backstory on like the Ari family being pacifists and like related to the REA family. Plus, like, we actually get introduced to these rankers in this squad. With the white fight, we only really, quote-unquote, care about Dorian. You know what I mean? Because Dorian's got an interesting design. He had some lines. Everybody else, we don't give a crap because they don't do anything. And white just eats them all up. And it's like, okay, sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I will just throw it on record that Dorian Frog had a pretty interesting aesthetic. For sure. One that I jibed with. I loved the summoning the toad, gave me the Naruto vibes for sure. And that weapon was downright disgusting, but was kind of cool at the same time. Kind of look goofy with the frog suit, but I mean, you got to go 100%, right? If this is going to be your aesthetic. So I really wouldn't expect any other thing. What did I expect? An eagle? You know what I mean? Be dressed up as. So frog totally makes sense. Want to throw it out there, but I do think number 5 would be a fair one for that fight for the reasons
Dorian,
you guys stated.
Bro. Dorian's a freaking beast, but as far as the fight goes, it's pretty one-dimensional, I would say. So
yeah,
let's throw it in number 5 then.
Decided.
Kaboom.
Kaboom.
Okay. So aside from that fight, are we for sure putting Sharon's fight at number 3 then? I mean 4. Sorry.
We don't have to. I was messing around when I said 5 before. I do think there's a conversation.
No.
You guys
well, I do, because I genuinely, biased and unbiased aside, think that Yuri's fight belongs at 3. So with that, I would say that I'd put Sharon's at 4.
I would agree, because even though I'm a Sharon simp and just the whole fight is super cool, I think these other 3 fights are like pretty good fights, and this one, it's good, but I don't know if it compares. So we're gonna put it at number 4 then. Okay.
Get wrecked.
Someone in the chat says Li Xiaowun. Li Xiaowun is garbage. Li Xiaowun is the one who's in control of the last station. I agree. Total piece of garbage. All right, moving on.
The dude, like the father?
The guy in the wheelchair? Yeah. Someone just decided
sucks.
to say that he's garbage, and I just wanted to shout them out. Desmond Wilson, you are a saint, and you're correct. Okay. Last 3 fights. We got Yuri versus Chonhee, Bomb versus Calavan, and Jinsung versus Calavan. So...
All right, as much as I'm... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like... No, go ahead. Okay, fine. I think it's obvious which one's going at number 1. Do we want to get that out of the way?
Well, I don't think it's obvious.
Really?
Number 1.
Oh.
I was going to say, I think it's pretty... As much as a Yuri simp as I am, like the other 2 fights are like literally the penultimate fights, the ones that start and end this arc.
True.
So I don't know. So I don't see... Like, I could definitely vouch for it, but I don't see Yuri's fight getting ahead of number 3. But that being said, I don't know. I'm actually pretty like even about which one could go for 1 and 2. So I'd like to hear you guys your things.
So
go for it, Joe.
Okay, fine. I'll just say something really quick here. The benefits of doing something on the internet. I think I just saw a chat about it, and I think it really sums it up well. Tony Seiler says Yuri's fight seems to have more emotional weight. I didn't care that much, but story-wise, it was important. And I think that really sums it up. It's like, it's a cool fight. I mean, it's above the Sharon fight, even I would say, for choreography reasons, but it really has more impact because of we get the Yuri flashback. We get to find out, like, what's Yuri's motivation. Yuri has that whole speech about, like, I'm not a doll, or if you want a princess doll who just says yes sir, like whatever, I'm not that doll.
To play by Jihad's rules.
Right. And it's a really awesome moment, and it's cool because they're both from the same family, and you can tell that Chonhee secretly is like jealous of Yuri's position and is like, how could someone who is in your position do this? Like, you're so lucky.
But it's like it's also cool too, because like Yuri's stance on why she's a princess, like, arguably makes her a better candidate for being a princess than someone like Chonhee, because like the whole point of picking the best candidate for being a princess was they wanted someone that exemplified the traits of the Ha family. And I genuinely, I mean, we haven't met what's his name, Yurin Ha, but I would argue that it'd be tough to find a better candidate than somebody who represents this, like, I'm going to do what I want and you're not going to tell me what to do, than Yuri. So like that, I think compared to someone like Chian Hee, who as strong as she is, does seem to be willing to lay down and be more of a little bit of like a military dog, compared to someone like
Right.
Yuri. So I think it actually like the thing that Chian Hee doesn't like about Yuri is what in turn makes her more qualified to be in that position than Chian Hee.
That's cool. And getting that flashback of Yuri and Ha, like Yuri's great grandmother, I think, is super cool because that's the first time we've even seen like a glimpse of it. And even little Yuri is like, I want to destroy things, and how that equates to now where she's like, I want to destroy the rules. It's just really cool. I really like
you cute little psychopath.
You little cutie.
No, she's awesome.
Cities. So
also, just a side note, Yurin Ha she's the head of that family, and she's the mother. Is she the only female head of the families?
No, the Yan family, like Iwa's family, has a female head.
They are also
because they're very misogynistic against men. I don't know, sexist against men. Because that's like their whole thing. That's why Iwa is so distrustful of like Bomb in season 2. That's kind of like their shtick. So they have a female family head, and then so does the Eurasia family. The Eurasia family, like Lauro, is a branch of that family.
The sleepy people.
Yep. So she has pink hair, just like Eater Day. Cherry Blossom, or sorry,
it's Head Sleepy.
Eurasia Blossom is her name, and she was romantically involved with Gustang for many years. So that's a whole.
That must have been a boring ass relationship. I'll tell you what. Honey, I'm home. She just slumped on the couch. He's like doing equations.
I can't do this dating because people want to like hang out, and I just want to sleep. I want to go places and date, and I'm like, bro, catch a Zed.
Yeah. But I think those are the three. I think those are the three. Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It also makes me real quick like wonder why. Well, it makes me interested in Jihad picking Yuri. Because obviously I would assume he has kind of the final say. He's the one giving his blood up. He's doing blood transfusions with these people. So like he's got to like see them as a candidate and be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like that's fine. It's like interesting that he would see Yuri, and like I just picture Jihad just being like, this shit's gonna be a pain in my ass. All right, whatever. Like like it's weird.
I don't know. I get this weird feeling that like Jihad was sort of in this position where he was like, hey, X person, like go find me candidates, and like trusted whoever this secondary person was to go, because Jihad actually strikes me as somebody who's like not really fucking doing any, like he's not running around doing X, Y, or Z. He's up here, he's fucking trying to figure out how to redial fate or whatever the fuck, and he's like, what's that? Any other problem that's not this? I deal with it. I don't give a fuck. Like whatever, do your thing. Like so I actually feel like that's fair, but I feel like the reason is he doesn't actually know Yuri. Like he's never met her, and like he doesn't know who they picked specifically for the Ha. They were just like get somebody from the Ha family.
So for sure, I'm wondering how much he does know about who's being chosen, but he does know his princesses. At least he knows Yuri, at least, because we know that Yuri has spoken with him before. Actually, interesting thing here. You guys might not know this, but when Pentaminum, the #1 ranker, who they've mentioned a couple times, the number, the craziest irregular ever to know. We know barely nothing about him.
Got it. Yeah.
Pentaminum. When he entered, he went into Jihad's palace and slaughtered like pretty much everybody. But he kept Yuri alive, so she was at the palace for some reason, and we don't know why he kept Yuri alive. But there's like a weird thing there. And then he went up to talk to Jihad. So like that implies that Yuri was like living in the palace, and like I think that he does know his princesses, but I don't know if he's
queen. And he was like, I can't kill her. She outranked me in every other way. It's ridiculous.
Right. Oh, someone in the chat points out. Monica B says, remember that snake guy from the Hidden Floor, the snake charmer? That's a good point. Like that guy is probably the one who's taking the princesses. That's a good point. So.
Well, I actually that's a good bring up, but I actually was under the assumption that the snake guy was like a secondary set, like he's a branch off of somebody who picks princesses that aren't from the royal families. Okay. So that like the decision to pick a princess specifically from the 10 families, that's assigned to like somebody who's closer to Jihad. And then the snake guy is sort of like a branch off of that. It was like, all right, we need more princesses, but like I'm leaving it up to you to just find candidates that might be good outside of this bucket here. But this bucket, this 10 family pool, leave that to, I don't know who would leave that to X person who's like much closer to Jihad. Because I don't know if I don't know. I got this feeling that like that guy was very was very honed in on Endorsi, and I'm like, why would somebody who Jihad ordered to find princesses even bother with somebody that's not in the 10 families?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Unless they're like basically like 2 different people assigned to do it, but one person it's like, you know, only pick from this pool, but the other person's like, just go, you know, go find somebody cool.
That's a good point. I never really thought about that. And it does bring up that like Endorsi, not to get too sidetracked, but like she is, I think, one of the only princesses that we know of that isn't from one of the families, 10 families.
Yeah.
And it's like that, and she happens to be the one with the snake charmer. Yeah, because every other princess, well, we don't know about a knock. Okay, so I'm not going to get into it here, but I have a theory that, and it's on my channel, I'm probably going to make a new video about it. I have a theory that a knock is actually related to the Lopobia family because of the animal, the whole animal thing.
Think so too.
You know, they're lizards, and Yasracha can control cats, dogs, and goats. That goat guy he was controlling. So if he can control all those, they must all be related, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, one way or another, Endorsi's like one of the only ones that isn't from one of the 10 families. But anyway.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, that was it's interesting to think about. I could go off on that theory too, because like she is like from the bunny race, and like for some reason they want to collect money, and my theory is that like it's connected to the Lopobia family, blah 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 blah. Anyway, so all right, so Yuri versus Chonhee probably going at number 3. Really great though. I love the moments that are associated with that fight, and
my favorite moments in the story.
I had a hard time, and like that's the thing, because I think on our top 5 moments, I don't know if anything related to Yuri is on there. I probably should have. We can talk about that, but really those moments are all wrapped up in this fight one way or another. Okay, that leaves the big boys. Calivan is in both of these fights, but we got Jinsung versus Calivan and Bomb versus Calivan. And obviously one of these fights is more fair than the other, more two-sided. But at the same time, I mean, they're both really, really well done. And I have a soft spot in my heart for these fights because I did a collab with K4 KOC, and he animated these fights with our voices, and it's just so well done, and it made me like these fights so much more. And like there is a lot that happens here that both of these, I don't know. What do you guys think? 1 and 2, what do you think?
Well, I have to say, just when I think of this arc, the one that jumps out is Jinsung versus him. And I don't know if that's the same. You know, that's not really justification for that being 1 or 2, or 1. But I do think it does count for something when it's like the staple fight of the arc. There is definitely, I like the fact that we get to see them, like it's like the choreography in the fight is top tier in the sense that they both get to legitimately like use their martial arts against each other, and we get to see them in full swing. But you know, like I said, the not necessarily justified to be 1 just because of that, because there are some definite emotional beats that happen on both of them.
Yeah,
Bomb's fight included. And it's not really just Bomb versus Calivan. If we're just doing Bomb versus Calivan, I think it's a shoo-in that it's Jinsung at 1. But if we are including, and I'm assuming this is what we're doing, we're including everyone who attacks Calivan at the same time, like just that whole interaction, like the fight as a whole. That's what I would assume, because it's not really a fight, I would say. You know, like, I don't know. But I digress. I think is very cool for those reasons, because we get to see a little bit of everyone, right? Everyone's throwing their ticket in there to try and do it, and then we really get to see how highlighted Calivan is from the prior fight that he had. So I guess what I'm saying is that that fight obviously doesn't hit as hard if not for the prior fight, but also we don't get the Calivan info that we were looking for, in the sense where it's like, okay, how strong is this guy really, right? And you could argue it's like, well, we just saw that, Ian. He just fought Jinsung. I understand that. Jinsung's really powerful. But I think when you get that put in perspective, with everybody throwing everything they have at him, and these are like high rankers or whoever's coming, Bombs along for the ride, Karaka, whatever.
Yeah.
And them throwing everything at him, and him just literally charging through it with as little as scratches. You know, I think Bomb inflicts like 1 wound. That says something for sure. So I don't know, kind of just talking in a circle. My gut tells me that Jinsung is 1.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm open for an argument, but I do think that they're just, if we're talking about emotional impact, choreography, spectacle, and hype, I think that the choreography is better in the Jinsung the Jinsung fight.
Okay.
I think that the spectacle is pretty similar. I do think there maybe, if you want to give a point in spectacle to the other fight, fair enough, because there are more players on the board, so we get to see more abilities. But I do think that this one had some crazy spectacle as well, so I think they're pretty even. Emotional impact, pretty similar, I would say. At least the end of the Jinsung fight is similar, but I guess you could, again, that's on the fence. You could give Bomb's fight, if you wanted to, more emotional impact. But then if we're interjecting the hype element in there, I would say that I had more hype for Jinsung's fight. So I think that Jinsung's fight for me edges it out slightly, but that's my opinion.
I mean, you want to go, Isaiah?
Yeah, I think I would. I think if I just had to choose, like, I would probably go with Jinsung at 1 also, just because the only thing in that fight that, like I said at the beginning of this, really, like, you know, is a you know, subtracts a point.
Sure.
Is how it ends, and that it, like, doesn't end, you know, personally I feel like the emotional beat is taken away a little bit because of what happens, or what doesn't happen rather. But that doesn't mean that everything leading up to that also didn't happen, and that it's crazy and dope, and the spectacle is definitely there. The emotional weight of Jinsung having to face his former like student,
right,
and like sort of seeing that it's like, oh, now, you know, Jinsung Ha, who's like now aligned with Fug, and he's like here to protect Bam, and Caliban, who, like, these guys have this link of master and student, but now Caliban is with Jihad and he's part of the army. Like they've sort of become, you know, the, you know, big heads, or right, like the capital heads in each side of this war. And it's like, you know, there's definitely a lot there, and obviously Jinsung's his speech just amplifies, like, in this. Actually, I think it's from the picture that you have here, this move that he uses on Caliban at the end, that, like, I forget what it's called because it's like 40 words long, but it's like that giant lion tiger, like, freaking, you know, attack he uses. It's dope. It's really dope. And I will say that I do love the Bam fight with Caliban, but I will say that it's not that fight I love because it sets the precedent for, like, what's to come, right? So, like, where we're at now with Bam and Caliban, now I'm like, oh shit, I want to see Bam tear Caliban up. But it's like, or like, I want to see them go head to head, but it's like that situation only happened because of like this was the catalyst for that, right? I don't know, this fight in particular is more of just sort of like, because Bam's not on a level to actually fight Caliban at this current point in time. You know, they do make it a point that he's one of the only people to injure Caliban technically out of, because even who was it, Yuri, Ivankel,
Karaka,
and Karaka all attack him, and he just barrels through those attacks and doesn't even flinch.
Right.
Bam is the only other person to actually harm him, so, like, I give him a point there. That is something.
Yeah, and you could
but
argue
I think that
he
fight
was, like,
for me is more emotional than spectacle, because it's more about, like, seeing how Bam reacts to, again, he's not dead, but the news that he thinks Jinsung Ha is dead. So yeah, I'd personally say Jinsung for 1.
Okay, so, and right, you could argue that, like, Caliban wasn't, like, protecting himself against Bomb, but still, like, I agree that Bomb, him injuring him is a sign of things to come, and that's like Caliban being like, oh, this guy actually could become a threat. I think someone in chat says it right here. There's a lot of interesting discussion going on. Most of it, for some reason, is on Garam. I don't know how. That was Floor of Death. Like, we're on Last Station right now.
I actually did. Somebody earlier was like, wait, Garam's not from the Coon family, and they've been going off ever since.
Guys, she may have, like, kind of blue hair, but that doesn't mean she's from the Coon family. Interesting theory. But someone in chat here says Jinsung was the only battle that had any consequence. Most of these guys just brawl a bit and both walk away. Now, you could argue the consequence wasn't death. However, I do actually agree that the Jinsung battle having that consequence of, like, it had a start. Oh, someone donated. Adori is waifu donated $10. Thank you for the donation with a little face. Appreciate that. So Adori is waifu. Let's be real. So
absolutely,
it had a start, middle, and finish. Like, you know, they had a big build up to the fight. They brawled for like freaking 10 chapters or something. And it had a legit conclusion with Jinsung being defeated, you know? And now he may have done his reverse flow control and almost, you know, he stopped them from going right away, and there's this whole thing. But like Caliban was the winner, and with the bomb fight, with many fights in Tower of God, they start fighting, there's emotional weight, and then it like gets cut off. And I think the fact that this is a complete fight and it lasts a long time, even that alone says something. I do think the bomb fight is possibly more impactful emotionally because of what Bomb's going through. Again, he thinks he's dead, etc., etc. There's this whole flashback sequence from both ends with him remembering how Jin Sung treated him, and I love that scene where he's like fixing his collar. You know what I mean? Like Jin Sung really was the father figure to Bomb. It's so good.
That's what sucks about this whole art is it feels like Jin Sung is like fighting his kids halfly, and then the other one, like he's got Karaka and Bam who are like fighting with him, but he's like, you know, in a way, Caliban, like he raised all these people up. He taught all these people almost everything they know, and now to see, I'm sure that's probably why in that fight with Caliban, where Caliban's like, oh, you might have actually killed me if you would hit harder. It's like, I think Jin Sung got a little soft because it's like, is Jin Sung really gonna kill this dude that he brought up and trained this way? And it's like, in that moment, I think he might have making a lapse in judgment and decided to like hold back a little bit because he couldn't bring himself to kill Caliban, which ultimately cost him that fight.
I never thought of that. I would believe it.
Jin Sung, dude.
Yeah. Jin Sung's a father, okay? He's a freaking father at heart.
Can you blame him? He just got back from grocery shopping, okay? He's a little tired, all right?
He got his lollipops,
because Karaka was up to some bullshit.
Karaka, what'd I say? 11 p.m. Do I need to spell that out for you? Okay? Not 11:01, not 11:05, 11.
I don't care if Jihad's whole army came back, okay? I want you back here at 11. And then Caliban's like, I'm taking over the world. He's like, oh my God. I'm just...
He's like, Bomb's here by 10 every night. And Karaka's like, why is everything about Bomb? You never loved me like you love Bomb, okay? I'll never measure up to Bomb. And he's like, I didn't mean it like that, okay? Karaka and then Caliban's just like, I like Jihad now. And he's like, God damn it. it's a whole thing, dude.
Bro, I need a
Poor guy,
I need like a comic of that or something. So Caliban's the oldest brother, right? And then it goes Karaka and then Bomb. Is that how we're doing this?
That would make sense.
I also think Caliban's like the adopted one, you know, and like Bam and Karaka have this weird like, no, are they really?
Right.
But I also feel like Caliban, he's just so much older. You know that thing if you have like 3 siblings, but one of them is like so much older, they're kind of like not really, you know, they're living their own
they're
life.
not siblings anymore.
Yeah, but like they're doing their own thing. They're like, they can't really relate to you, you know? It's
no, I remember that. Like you asked someone in middle school, be like, do you have any siblings? Like, yeah, I got a brother. How old is he? 30? And it's like, that's he's
like,
not even there.
You know.
Right.
It's like, let's be real. You guys don't live together or anything like that. Like he's doing his own thing, bro.
Quick shout out to Jin Sung. Jin Sung won. Like he won the fight, donated $5 and said Caliban cheated in their fight. Jin Sung is the best. I mean, sure.
Hey, I'm with you, bro. I'm with #, Jin Sung got robbed. I'm with you,
bro.
I mean, fair
that
enough.
shit was cheap. Like, you ain't gonna kill me, Dad? He's like,
well, and then Mashini too. Mashini comes in.
What are you talking about?
I said it.
Well,
crazy.
I mean, Mashini also shows up, and literally Jin Sung is kind of going crazy. And he's like, I can't let you get to the last station, and then Mashini freaking stabs him in the back. So we don't even really know.
After he held back, though.
I mean, yes, but
I do think that Jin Sung going all out and not holding back potentially wins that fight. I mean, Caliban even says, if you had given it your all, you might have beaten me. But at the end of the day, he didn't. So we could speculate all day about, well, if Jin Sung really tried harder, he didn't. And that was the reason that he lost that fight, because he held back for whatever reason that we don't know in that moment, and Caliban didn't. That's it. You know what I mean? So like, you could be the greatest fighter on the planet in mixed martial arts, but like, if you don't have the intent, I mean, this is a whole arc we have with Bomb because he has no intent to kill, right? When they were like, you need to actually have this. If he doesn't intend to kill him, or if he doesn't intend to put him down, and then he gets put down because he holds back, it doesn't matter if you were a better technical fighter than him, you lost. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You didn't. Caliban had that.
Right. And I Soldier Singh, thank you for that super chat. I think there's something that I forget what I was gonna say. Shoot, I'm getting distracted by the chat. Someone said Caliban is going through puberty. I mean, like, yeah, pretty much. All right.
He had quite the puberty growth spurt, bro.
He certainly did. Oh, okay.
Tell me he's not on steroids.
Okay, I was gonna say, when Mashini backstabs Jin Sung, it is after he held back, but he is in the middle of like. That's where this panel is from, I think. He's kind of going crazy. He's like, you can't go. I can't let you into the last station, Caliban. And Caliban's like, whoa, he's still going? And that's when he gets backstabbed. I still think it wouldn't have mattered. one way or another, I think
That's fair.
Jinsung versus Calivan is the best, if not the best, like one of the best fights of the entire series. And I think that speaks a lot to how good this arc was. I don't think it was flawless, but I think it gave us a lot of amazing moments, a lot of amazing fights. You know, this is like one of the most talked about fights of the entire series. And that certainly says something.
For good reason.
Yeah, so we got White versus Dorian Frog plus Squad at number 5. We have Sharon versus Evan Kell, or Sharon plus Squad versus Evan Kell at number 4. Yuri versus Chon Hee Ha, number 3. Bomb versus Calivan at number 2. And then Jin Sung versus Calivan at number 1. And I think this is a pretty good list. I mean, no changes, right?
Hashtag Jinsung got robbed.
Hashtag Jinsung.
Taliban wasn't taking steroids and cheating. I had a fair fight. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll never know.
The essence of trend.
Yeah, right.
Essence of drugs.
That's a steroid.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, all right, but don't go anywhere, guys. We just finished our fights ranking. We're going to do a quick intermission, but we're doing characters next. And I'm not going to lie, characters is one of the most fun rankings that we do. So you don't want to go anywhere. 5-minute break. And I'm going to throw 3 trivia questions at you guys. And if you miss one of these, how can you call yourself a Tower of God fan? All right, anyway, here we go. Break time. See you guys in 5 minutes. Okay.
Pretty tough.
We're back. So, yeah, no, I didn't even know that question about Gavin. So first of all, guys, if you don't know who Gavin is the third member of the AoA show. He couldn't make it today, but we still were able to quiz you guys about that. His favorite character is Layra Rowe. Now, I do want to say also, I made a mistake. It was supposed to play from question 1, but it played from question 7 and then cut to question 1. My bad. I think I can fix it here if you give me 1 sec. So anyway. Okay, I got you guys though. I got you guys a couple times. Someone in the chat was like, Joe, give us a hard question. And then I got you all. And I was like, yeah, get absolutely wrecked. Karaka is not a wave controller. And I understand why you think so, but he's not. Get it right. Jeez.
Joe, do you know Joe, you are the kid in class who, like, when the teacher has to step out or they have to sub, they're like, fuck, I don't have time to get a substitute teacher. All right, I'll just pull somebody from the class. Like, Joe, he's really active in class. I know he pays attention a lot. Joe, just come up here, run through the lecture. It's really simple. Just tell everybody the questions. And the second the teacher leaves, you're like, oh, you guys are fucked. Just like go off on
What's this one? God. Wrong? Absolutely right.
Okay, but like, there's more of a motivation.
You have a toaster for a brain, you idiot.
There is
potato.
Oh man. Okay, but the questions also get harder, so stick around if you want that. You're gonna see a repeat of that question 7, but whatever, guys. All right. One way or another. If you want to know who Gavin is, some of you are like, who's Gavin? Subscribe to the AoA show. The link is down below. These guys make a lot of fun content. What shows are you guys covering right now? Do you want to give a quick little plug about what you're covering?
Shit, man. Yeah. So we have 2 channels. We have the AoA show, where we'll do like today's podcast discussions, skits, reviews, etc.
Your camera died. Sorry.
And then we will... God damn it. All right, give me 1 second.
Sorry, I just felt like I'd let you know now, sooner than later.
Yeah, wait, what?
Did it die? It's a black screen for me.
The chat, you mean?
Oh, they're talking to themselves. Whoops. Ah! I'm split. My face split apart for a second there. That was crazy. They're coming back,
Joe,
guys.
do you see us?
I see a black screen. Technical difficulties. Here we go. Yeah, but if you guys don't know, they did an entire read-through of Tower of God. They did an entire read-through. I think only half of it is up on their reaction channel because of stupid copyright shenanigans. But yeah, they make a ton of fun content. They do blog post discussions and review. Like, guys, these guys make a lot of fun content. They're reacting to Haikyuu. What else are they doing? Stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I don't.
Joseph, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I don't think it's on my end. I think I'm lag. I mean, there is a bit of lag now, but I don't think it's affecting that because there's no. There we go. It's on. It's on.
Oh.
It's on. We're good.
Sorry, that was our bad. We have this panel here for our camera. It's like called a black magic.
Yeah.
And the whole panel is literally, dude, right under my arm. Because this whole setup here is on top of me. So if I like press any of these buttons, it like switches the camera off, and that's what happens. So
gotcha.
I blame Gavin.
Anyway,
so,
where were we?
Short, anyway, yeah, I mean, I did a little bit of a plug for you guys. You're covering Haikyuu. You did Tower of God stuff. What else?
We just started My Hero.
Ooh,
My Hero season just started. We're switching up the way we cover a little bit because not gonna lie, it's a little what's the word, Ian?
Slow.
Yeah.
Right now.
I've heard that this part of the manga was not everyone's favorite. But.
Yeah. No. So what I was saying, if you said it, I apologize for sounding like a broken record, but we have the 2 channels. So we'll cover shows on the reaction channel, and sometimes we'll cover different shows on the AoA show that we want to have more long form content about: video essays, podcast discussions, skits, etc., reviews. So on the reacts channel right now, the mainstays, like you said, are Haikyuu. We also have Hunter x Hunter going on. That would be Isaiah and Gavin. So if you want to get a feel of who Gavin is, we like to call him our wild card. So Isaiah and Gavin are watching Hunter x Hunter because I saw it already. And reacting to that. You can catch that on Wednesdays. We just started reacting to Mushoku Tensei, which I always have a problem pronouncing. Hopefully I got it right. Yeah, we just started doing that. That airs on Thursdays. We got through 2 episodes so far, and it's pretty cool. And then, like Isaiah said, we're covering My Hero as well on the AoA Reacts channel. Hopefully going to include more. We want to try and include Twitch streams where we live react to things. We're kind of working out the kinks still. So we did a Twitch stream where we reacted to Joran, the Princess of Blood and Snow. And we also reacted to Your Eternity, the first episode, which that one was, I mean, they were both good, but that one in particular was fantastic.
Nice.
And one that I'd like personally, you know, to cover and continue. So that one was really cool. That one you can catch in our archive streams on our Patreon at the moment, but we want to start streaming and then editing those and putting them up on the Reacts channel. And then on the show, on the AoA show, we're covering obviously Tower of God, as you see here, along with some other stuff. We just put out a review for the Demon Slayer movie as well, kind of like a vlog.
Oh, cool.
That we put up there. Yeah, of us just like messing around, bopping to the OP, and then talking about the talking about the movie after we saw it. If you haven't seen it already and you are a Demon Slayer fan, it is absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend that you watch it.
Solid.
For sure. So yeah.
The one thing that I do definitely want to promote is we will be doing, I will be doing a 24-hour live stream with, you know, Ian and Gavin, you know, popping in like occasionally throughout the day.
Nice.
But it was a goal of ours to hit 5,000 subs by March. And we did. We hit it, like we got pretty close, but we ended up hitting it. And so I will be doing a 24-hour live stream on the AoA show channel, May 21st, 10 a.m. EST to 10 a.m. EST Saturday. So it's going to be a legit all-day thing.
Holy.
And we're gonna be hanging out. I got tons of stuff planned. Like I said, Ian and Gavin will be, you know, cycling in and out throughout the stream. It's gonna be a good time.
Do you have sorry about the camera lag, guys, but at least you can hear them still, I believe. It should be fixed here shortly. Actually, hold on, let me make sure. Can y'all hear us? Gotta love the Saturday lag. I don't know why it's only Saturdays.
Saturday lag.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to get off the internet for a minute.
Yeah, I'm moving out.
Can we get everybody to stop watching the stream?
I'm moving out in a month, and I'm freaking excited.
Obviously, what's holding us up?
Yeah. Okay, you can hear us? Let's go. Okay, and it's back. We're back. Hey, okay. So I'm assuming you heard him, but if you didn't, Isaiah and partially the other guys are doing a 24-hour stream on their channel. I think you heard it. So it's like you have like a schedule, Isaiah, of like things you're doing. Like, do you have the whole thing like planned out, or how's it gonna?
Yeah, it's more of an itinerary. So it's just things that I'm going to be doing throughout the day. I don't have it like, you know, cool. Hour by hour broken down. But yeah, I got, you know, I'm gonna do some watch parties, gonna watch some anime, play some games. I have some read-throughs, specifically of some webtoon comics that I personally have been really wanting to like pick back up or reread. That I'll get a chance to read. You know, maybe some tier list. I don't know. I'm kind of gonna have those things, and I'm just gonna kind of just vibe. That
sounds awesome. I've always thought about like, oh, I should do like a really long stream. But then every time I do a Friday stream, it's been 4 hours, and I'm like, bro, I'm exhausted. I'm like, how would I do a 24-hour? I cannot imagine. Anyway,
dude, they take a lot out of you.
They do, man.
Streams, you never would think it. It's like, oh, it's so much fun. We're just, you know, BSing and everything. But there's a lot of prep work that goes into some of them. I mean, take this one, for instance, just making all the slides and everything and discussing which characters or fights or whatever. You got to make the list to be ranked, etc. But then actually doing it, keeping the hype up, all that kind of stuff. Like Isaiah and I just were watching some episodes of Haikyuu the other day, and we watched like 4 or whatever. And at the end, we were like, whew, bro, I'm beat, because you're just like trying to keep the energy up, you know, and like
reacting to something is a thing in itself. But like, I use a little bit of a different beast, because that shit just fucks with me, dude. Like, I don't get like, I'm like, oh shit, like that happened. That's so crazy. But Haikyuu, I'm like, I'm actually I turn into an animal, and it takes all the wind out of me.
I understand. It's like when we're reacting to something, we put up the energy. It's not like we're faking a reaction, but like we're trying to keep up the energy because it's fun, you know. But then, when I read a new chapter of Tower of God, I'm just like, bro, I let loose. I totally understand what you're saying. Anyway, so we had a donation. I wanna read that off here. Simps of Adori says, simping for Adori when? We're always simping for Adori. Yeah, right now. Let's go. Let's go.
Also, I'm sorry, Jed. I didn't mean to cut you off, but the most important thing, arguably, about the stream is it's a charity stream. So
cool.
The stream, we actually started it now. There's a link on if you go to our channel, we have links to the donation page for the charity that we're a part of. It's for a group or company called NAMI. They work with a lot of like mental health and mental illness. And we figured since like the month of May is mental awareness month, or like it's, you know, the month for mental illness. We figured like everything just sort of made sense and lined up. Plus it's a thing that I'm particularly passionate about in terms of like charity and helping and stuff. So yeah, that is the big thing. It's gonna be a charity stream. You can donate to the charity, to our campaign now if you click on the link that I was talking about, or you can just do it during the stream. But yeah.
So when is that stream? When's that gonna be?
May 21st.
May 21st. Guys, mark it on your calendar. That sounds like it's gonna be a blast. Awesome. Okay, also I missed a super chat or a donation 11 minutes ago. We expect one vid per day donated. Okay, someone's just changing their name and donating it, but like someone's just changing their name to Simsavadori, Jinsung, whatever. Okay, you're getting one video a day. How long have you been subscribed? Gosh dang it. Thank you for the donation. All right, let's freaking talk about some characters. All right, so we have 10 characters today on the board. I'm going to read them off here in case you can't see the pictures, but we have Bomb, Yuri, Calavan, Jinsung, I screwed up the order there, Evankel, Chonhee, White, Karaka, Misang, and Soyoung. Bit of a white horse. So, or dark horse? Freaking, I don't know. Okay. 10 characters. Where do we start? We're going at number, you know what? Oh, never mind. We're fine. Boom. There we go. It was still on fights, and I was like, what the heck? We're fine. Hey, we got to have a couple little technical difficulties. Cut me some slack. All right. Here we are. We got top 10. So what's interesting is that when we were putting a little, you know, I'm going to do a little bit of a behind the scenes. When we were putting this top 10 together, our top 10 candidates, we had some conflicting opinions on Soyoung, because she's like, does she really do enough to justify being on like a top 10 character list? So that's going to be an interesting person to discuss. But yeah, I mean, let's just jump into it. What do you guys, who should we tackle first?
So I think the way I'm going to start this, I'm going to throw out a couple candidates that I think could be in the bottom quartile. So by that, I mean 6 through 10 and, just in general, and then go from there. So my candidates for 6 through 10 are somewhere along the lines of
you saying in order?
No particular order. Chonhee, Soyoung, Misang, and potentially White. I think. I know that's not even 5 characters, but I'm just, like I said, there's no particular order or anything. Sure. I'm just saying I could see arguments for those going from 10 up just in general.
Okay, so basically the
going
bottom
from
5
there. I think
on the screen. Sorry. Basically the bottom 5 on our layout is think should be our bottom 5.
I didn't even realize
that. Worked out pretty well. Okay. Except for Karaka. I don't think you said Karaka.
Minus Karaka.
Yeah, no, minus Karaka.
Who's this guy with the black hair, like up by Yuri?
Oh, that's Jinsung.
What's his name?
That's Jinsung. There you
Jinsung.
Go. Oh, okay.
Sorry,
right,
it's fixed. You can see.
No, you're good.
It is Jinsung. So okay. I mostly agree. In fact, I just agree. I think Calavan and Jinsung and Bomb, like, this is their arc. Let's be real. Yuri has a ton that she does. Yuri and Chonhee are like connected, but it's okay. This is sort of like the Hockney and Mata argument we had, where it's like, the development that Chonhee gets contributes to the development that Yuri gets. And I actually think more so, like when we're talking about Hockney and Mata, we put Mata above Hockney because of that. I think it's like vice versa here. I think that like Chonhee's character serves Yuri's character, but like Yuri takes that and goes all out with it. And like we really see a lot of her motivation and her growth in this arc. So like, even though they're connected, I would definitely say Yuri's the one who grows here. Yuri's the one who gets the development.
Oh, excuse me.
So okay, but like, okay,
yeah,
what about like Evankel though? Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm not gonna lie that I was debating on including Evankel in that bottom quartile, and actually being that I named 4, I think that would be my 5th to name.
Because she's awesome.
In that 6 through 10.
Yeah, she does a lot, but like
She's awesome.
All right,
Well,
I would
because
like
know I'm
to.
gonna get roasted for this. Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to start putting things in numbers now because we've just been
Let's
kind of
do it.
picking characters.
What are you talking about?
I think I do agree with a lot, if not everything you guys said.
Okay.
But okay, for me, I would do Mising at 10. I would do what's this chick's name again?
Soyoung.
Soyoung at 9. I would do White at 8. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I would swap. So I would swap them. I would do Misung at 10, White at 9,
Oh.
Soyoung at 8, Cheon Hee at 7, and Yvonne Kill at 6.
Wow.
That's a pretty good
Okay.
ranking.
Strong.
Yeah. That's a pretty good ranking. I mean, I can see it. What's interesting is that Isaiah, you were the. I mean, I'm gonna call you out here. You were the one who was not a big Soyoung fan when we were putting this list together. So it's interesting that you're putting her above.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Well, because when we started the list, I was more under the impression that like I was more in the mind frame, I should say, that like, okay, what does this character do like for the arc, right? So if you look at characters like your Yuris, like your Bams, your Calavans, your Jinsungs, that like they are facilitators for the literal arc, right?
Yeah.
A lot of what they do is like interacts with the plot and forces it to move in some direction, or their characters move forward in their development. Compare in that mind frame, in that comparison, in my mind, this chick doesn't do anything. I mean, she just kind of, runs around the station and like is talking to the team and stuff. But I think when we were talking about it, the mind frame that I had to get into was sort of like, not every character contributes to an arc in the same way, but it can necessarily be like the same weight or the same amount of contribution.
Right.
So like, while she doesn't do anything in terms of like, she's not going out on the field and fighting X rankers, or, she's not like developing into this different character. She is a representation of what the last station is supposed to stand for. She's supposed to be like, if I forget her father's name, and like
Right.
if him and the all the other people are supposed to be sort of what Jihad has turned the last station into, or what Jihad's influence has. She is the last remnant of like what it was supposed to be, right? What Bam and like his company, them coming to the last station, they were supposed to be sort of like greeted by, these people here. And it's supposed to be sort of this, not utopia necessarily, but this place where they can sort of like, they're treated fairly and they can rest and they like, and they're, she is the embodiment of that.
Yeah.
But like, so her struggle, while mundane in comparison to the people who are shooting nukes out of their hands and stuff, like doesn't weigh less because she doesn't like move, like because she doesn't do anything necessarily in the same sense. It's just that her ideology, like that's what her character is, the embodiment of the ideology of the last station.
Totally agree. Whoa, my screen is like, it looked like there was two different pointers there for a second. So I agree, and I think that's a good point. She's kind of like, we've made this comparison I think before. She's kind of like the Mata of the Floor of Death and kind of like the Boggess of the Hidden Floor.
Right.
I would say they actually get more development than she does for sure, but they also just stand out more in my opinion. But I think that's a good point, and I'm just glad that Misang made the list, because I do think that she does serve, like, it's not that she's the most important character, but like throughout this entire story, she's pretty much been this like liability. But this is the first time she's like, no, I'm not a liability anymore. I'm here to stand with you guys. And it's like, Misang, like what? So I think I'm just glad she made the list. If she's at number 10, I don't mind, because I can see why. But White, I think there's an argument to be made for White to be a bit higher, because this is actually technically, if we're being honest, this is the first time that White is White. This is the first time that he's merged with all of his siblings and all of his clones. He's technically been Joaquin in every single arc up until this point, or at least in like an 80% White. And we get that flashback of his father again. His father basically saying, you do have it in you to be like a demon, and just like this whole thing. And I mean, when I actually say it out loud, it's not like, I don't know. It's tough. I would put Mising at 10 though. I think that's actually pretty fair. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, I believe it or not, I do think I could see me saying a 10. I'm not going to die on this hill, but I could actually see white going even lower than that. I actually think that there could be a possibility for white at 10, but that's my personal opinion. Like I said, not trying to die on that hill. So if we want to put him higher, that's fine. Because I could also see me saying a 10.
Just be prepared.
As well.
Be prepared because someone's gonna come after you. John Doe in the chat said, "Why is white at 8? No." So I think
come at me, call me Caliban.
Anyway,
no, but I mean, yeah, no, I don't know. I just don't think that white being white is enough of an excuse. Because just so everyone knows, right? If anyone is new to the stream, like they just hopped in, or this is one of the first one you're catching of Joe's or ours, right? When we go over rankings here, there's kind of like this unwritten rule when it comes to characters. Usually we'll lay out the guidelines and the parameters for how we're judging these fights or moments or whatever, by like their emotional impact or choreography, like we did for fights, etc. Characters, it's not necessarily written in stone, but we kind of come to the conclusion that it's how the character overall impacts the arc specifically, because they are ranking within the confines of the arc, and also how they develop on an individual level, or how they help contribute to the development of other characters, right, on a large scale, or important characters. So like those three things are kind of what we're using here. So it's not power, it's not likability, it's not anything like that, right? So, you know, I know we've had some situations where like Rachel maybe makes it higher on the list and people are like, what the hell, right? And it's like, don't get me wrong, like none of us like Rachel on that level as a character, but you know, etc. There are arguments to be made, right? Agree or not. Again, so this is one of those, so that being said, me getting that out of the way, I think that white and me saying, while I could definitely see me saying a 10, I definitely think for me, white would be at 9, which I believe Isaiah said as well. Just because white, sure, he becomes white, right? That's cool. There's some spectacle behind that. And he has his flashback when he's falling through the sky. But I don't think that white personally, as compared and stacked up to these other characters, has a large impact on this arc and the character development of other characters. And I don't think while white does turn into himself, he has a lot of character growth in and of himself. I don't think that flashback really does anything except, you know, reminds him of, you know, the humility he once had, and maybe it's like a setup for later, but I don't really think it held that much weight for me personally, and that's just my subjective opinion. Yeah, I just think that white did what he did best in this arc specifically, and was just, you know, brought the spectacle and brought the poses, you know what I mean? Like he just comes in, he's like, bah, bah, like he's coming down a runway, you know what I mean? You're just like, oh my God, it's mind-blowing, which it is, it's cool, but yeah, and then you take a second, you step back for a second, and you think about it, and you're like, okay, well, that was kind of it though, right? You know what I mean? We're just kind of starstruck by how gorgeous he is, and he just comes on, you know, he does all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a spectacle. Right, you know what I mean? But I guess compared to some of the other characters, you know, it's like it didn't really hold the same sort of, it didn't have the same sort of gravity on the, you know, on the arc as a whole, at least in my opinion. So I would probably put him at 9. Like I said, I could see an argument for 10, but I do think that me saying, listen, we love me saying to death. But listen, I'll say it if nobody else will. She doesn't do all that much.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna say it, you know, like she uses her observer, and you can make the argument that she's in the fight, she's in the fray, and it's like, yeah, I'm not useless completely. But again, this is a top 10 list, and we have to get a little cutthroat here. I think comparatively speaking to some of these other characters, Misang doesn't really do a lot for the progression of the arc. She doesn't really do a lot for the other characters. She has a little bit of progression of her own, but it's not necessary. We kind of see that played out within that fight. And that was really cool, but I think that, you know, that's like not the end all be all, you know, to this arc.
And a quick shout out to the super chat or the donation from White is number 1, who says, unless we're talking about a Dory. White is number 1 unless we're talking about a Dory. Thank you very much, White is number 1. Someone totally has all these unique usernames. Crazy, right? Crazy. Thank you.
It's crazy.
Thank you,
absolutely.
Person.
A bunch of different people.
I would probably agree though. And White he's incredible in this arc. It's so fun to see what he does, but like as a as a character who's like developing, it's like, all right. I mean, you know, number 9's
White's like one of those characters who, like, you know, when you get the payoff of him in whatever the arc is called, like that we're in, or just like got caught up on, where he's fighting Caliban.
The Nest.
It's like that payoff is so great because he took his sweet ass time, like getting to that stage where it's like we've had up until all these moments of him like coming out and like flexing a bicep here, flexing a bicep there, getting this cool new sword. He's stuck, fights Caliban. Like he's like literally probably been one of the slowest characters to get like a genuine power up, but like when he gets it, when it's done, like when we get to that point, white pops off 100%, 110%, I would even argue. But it's because all these other arcs, he like is just doing it like little by little. And like this arc is cool, but it is like just a fraction of him doing that. Yeah.
It's like a step. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And Tony Seiler says, Missing has her moment that put her in the top 10, but being number 10 is still top 10. And I agree. Like, same for White. Like, we're not saying that he doesn't do anything. It's like, he does a lot. But all these other characters.
Yes, they made a list.
Yeah, no, for sure. Keep in mind also, just as another thing for anyone watching, there's a lot of preamble that Joe, Isaiah, and myself have earlier in the week about how we're going to set up these streams, and that includes who's making what lists, right? So we run through, I have a lot of characters here that are crossed off that we were going to put into the top 10 pool that didn't make it, right? So there are a lot of characters within this arc. So just in general, the fact that they made the top 10 list, all jokes aside, is noteworthy in and of itself, right? They beat out other characters to make it here. So
yeah, we had to cut friggin' Sharon and Dorsey. Bro, it hurts.
And in Dorsey,
it hurts, yeah.
But Huarun.
Oh, dude, why all the waifus? Come on now. Right.
And Miss Chenny. I know, what the hell's wrong with this, right?
What a world where Missing beat out Miss Chenny and Dorsey.
But we had the combo about it, we were like, oh, is this real? But yeah.
What does Missing do? Oh, she has that dope fight. What does Dorsey do?
Uber driver.
She doesn't have to do anything.
Bomb driver.
All right, so I like that. I like 10 and 9 being Missing and White. And like looking at these other characters, I do think genuinely So Young at 8 makes the most sense because she has her thing, she has her whole character is defined by the station and she's held this representation, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, like Chon-Hee actually does get a lot of screen time in this arc. Her whole fight with Yuri is great. I do think Chon-Hee deserves a place above. And then I would say the same for even like Evankel, who this is pretty much also her first arc. It's not her introduction per se. That's in the in-between arc. But we do get some flashbacks, we get some interesting development on who she is and like why she's fighting, like a little bit of it. A lot of it is just her kind of burning people, but at the same time, like she has so much of a presence in this arc. I mean, half this arc is just her burning people and taking on like entire armies. Like that says something. So
I will agree that it's kind of I don't know about like two-sided or like a little bit harder to tell, because like if somebody's in this arc a lot, let's say, but they're like constantly getting their butt whooped and they're constantly like throwing out attacks that are getting deflected and like they're just not like, they're on panel a lot but they're like not doing a lot. I think it's easier to be like, oh, this character didn't do anything, right? And it's like, fair enough, I guess that it depends on if you equate just sheer presence on panel to like contributing to the arc.
Yeah,
but it's like while Ivankel mostly did nothing but burn a lot of people, like she burned a lot. She won. Like that she went in here and did nothing but fight, but won those fights. And it's like, I do think that counts for something because most of this fight is a straight battle. Like there's not a lot of, intricate mystery plot. That it's just like enemy team, our team, fight them. And so for somebody to join that fight, do most of the fighting and win, like I think that's good. That, you know what I mean? In terms of plot relevance.
That's a good point. That's
a good
fair point. I mean, Evankel literally carried the team. Like, she was the team in this arc. Without her, I mean, we've been screwed. So, that being said, I guess we're cool with So Young at 8. I like it. Whoops.
Yeah.
And then, so do we want to do, okay, Evankel versus Chon-Hee. Who earns the higher placement? If those are the two that we're debating.
I could see Ivankel going higher, like as in 6, not 7. And Chon-Hee going 7. Although, there are some, I think there's a conversation to be had if you wanted to make arguments for one or the other. I would totally be receptive to them because again, Chon-Hee does have a pretty big presence in this arc. Just her introduction, her banter with Yuri, the fact that it's like this Ha drama that we got going on. in general, and we get to see a lot of her moves put on display and how good of a commander that she is, or lack thereof, depending on what side you're on, but like how the things that she does in order to progress her army forward and all that kind of thing. I think there is something to be said about it. I feel like Yvonne Kell's presence is so, how do I describe this? It's so robust. Like Yvonne Kell's presence is just so, it's just such a visceral thing. Whenever Yvonne Kell comes on screen, she like literally steals the spotlight, right? It's kind of hard for me to describe it in any other way. And I can't even really back it up when I describe it, except for me to just tell you to look and see for yourself, right? There's just like, there's this aura, this confidence, and just the fact that it's like this huge bombastic nuclear level of crap going on, just exudes all this sorts of confidence. And it's just like, obviously has this, the ability to back it up. It's kind of hard to compare to that, it's like, when Yvonne Kell steps on the scene, like steps in class, it's like all eyes are on her. It almost doesn't matter what other characters were on panel. She just has that presence about her. So, maybe that's not a justifiable argument to be like, well, she's better than Cheon Hee, for the reasons that we stated. But, I do think all things considered that I would probably put her above. We just got to the point in the stream where you just changed the slide randomly, then changed it back.
And it's just great because your face was like, oh, wait.
God damn it, Joe. But yeah, I think Yvonne Kell would be 6 in my book, unless somebody has an argument to sway it. But
wait, you said Cheon Hee?
I initially said.
Wait, you said Evan Kell at 6. Okay.
Yvonne Kell at 6.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm down. I agree. Someone in chat says Cheon Hee is the ultimate Calavan simp. Yeah, that is true too. I mean, I like Cheon Hee a lot actually. She's one of those, like, when you meet all these like commanders and soldiers and division commander, squadron commander, assistant squadron, it's like, there's all these titles and stuff. It's like, okay, I'm being overloaded right now. She's in the midst, and I feel like she's probably the number one standout, and that says something for sure. Like her and Sharon and Elpathion are kind of, and Dorian Frog, like there are only 4 names out of like 30 that are introduced, and out of all of them, I'd say she's the one that gets the screen time. She's the one that gets the development, the flashback with Yuri, like she gets a lot, and so we're gonna give her that placement. That's pretty high actually. So high praise for Cheon Hee Ha. All right, these 5 made the top 5. Let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. All right, so in my opinion, I think if I was the one ranking, I think the top 3 is going to be Calavan, Jin Sung Bam. That's me. The argument that although Calavan's like the big whatever, dude. Although he's like the big antagonist of this arc and he has a lot of screen time, you could make the argument that he's not like a good character until season 3. I wouldn't argue that, but I can see someone like trying to argue that. Make top 5 or top 3, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I actually, before even getting to that, do we think Karaka is at 4, right? Because I'm kind of just trying to recollect thoughts here.
Okay.
Karaka's big moment is really at the end where he decides to help Bomb, right? That's kind of his deal when it's like the send off. Like before that, he's fighting Yuri for a hot second, gets splashed with bathwater, and then he kind of like pisses off for a minute and he's doing his fighting, and then he helps fight Caliban and come to Bomb's aid. And then that's kind of where and then the end of the arc, he's like, I'm gonna train you, or I'm gonna stick with you. That's kind of his big thing, right? Am I missing any standout moment? Okay. Now I guess the question then remains, is that worth anything higher than the 4 spot, right? For the things that went on there. I guess that's the argument.
I don't actually think he would go in 4. I think I'd put him in 5, because I think that those moments are great. But again, if we're talking about, it's tough, or it's different because if you're comparing somebody like, let's just say like Jin Sung to someone like what's this chick's name in number 8?
So young.
It's hard to compare them because they fundamentally as characters do different things for the arc. Like I said, the level of importance they have are both relevant, but they just don't operate the same way, like functionally as characters. but it is understood that a character like Yuri and a character like Karaka more or less are supposed to, right? They share the space, they're in the same sphere, and they can, more or less realistically do and contribute the same in the exact same kind of way, right? As combatants and or as informants based off their experiences. I would actually argue though that like Yuri there's more that happens with Yuri in the arc in terms of both her character and in terms of the plot, in terms of like what needs to happen, what pieces need to move, in comparison to Karaka, who is there and his presence is felt, but he very much, I feel like, plays a support role in this arc. He's very much here to sort of like back Bam up and just be at his side to make sure he doesn't get critically hurt. And then the end of the arc is where like Karaka officially decides to sign on as like be here on the front lines player.
Right.
So I would actually make the argument that it would be Karaka at 5 and Yuri at 4, personally.
I actually agree with that. Someone's saying lag is gone.
Oh, I totally forgot about 5. My bad. Huh? I thought Ivankel was 5 this whole time, so I'm thinking, I'm like, well, then where does Ivankel go? You know what I mean? And then I'm just like, I'm sorry, because we have the screen on another monitor, and I have to like go, I have to like fly, I have to like jump over the table to see it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. That makes more sense. And someone says, great podcast. Yeah, the video's lagging a bit. I apologize, guys, but at least you can still hear us. Sorry about that. Yeah, Tony jinxed it. But yeah, I do agree. I think that it would be Karaka at 5, Yuri at 4. Even though I do like that moment with Karaka and everything. Hold on, give me just one sec.
Do you, boo-boo?
Oh, I wanted to point out, someone in chat said, damn, where's our boys Kun and Rack? And then someone said, yeah, where's Kun? Kun is literally unconscious. He doesn't have a single line throughout this entire arc. Y'all are insane.
Dude, I love chat, bro, but sometimes we'll be doing these listings, and especially the character one, we'll be like, all right, guys, between Karaka and Yuri, who do you think should go up? And somebody's like, yo, Hansong, favorite character. And it's like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, that's just Sharky. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Well, yeah, it's that example. I just mean like people will be like talking about and referencing characters that have nothing to do with what we're talking about, and like they might be having their own conversation, but it's like, what? Kun is literally not even in the arc.
No, I agree with you completely. There's just fans of these characters that like they want them on every list, and it's hilarious. I'm looking at the video. It doesn't seem like we're lagging, so I don't know. Maybe it's better.
Yeah, they're hella delayed on YouTube too. Yeah, so like if it happened, 45 seconds ago or something like that.
But it is.
I'm looking at the delay here, and it seems.
Oh,
okay.
Are you?
Oh,
okay.
It's gone now.
David said it's back.
It's gonna be back and forth, but guys, this is pretty much a podcast anyway. Let's be real. I mean, you know the rankings. All right, Karaka's going at 5. Okay, Kun's not here. Boo hoo. Okay, Yuri's at 4. I mean, we could talk about Yuri. We kind of already have. I mean, freaking dude, Yuri's just. She has a lot of cool moments this arc, a lot of screen time.
This arc to me 100% exemplifies like why I love this character so much. She is it completely the fight that she has, because the fight she has, like I mentioned in the what do we just do fights with Qian He. Again, I don't think it's just a fight of like, oh, these two Haas pitted against each other. I mean, like it is literally, and the whole thing is that the Haas are a physically dominant family, like that's their specific trait. So to see this is one of the first opponents that we're meeting that Yuri can't just fucking nuke out of the way because Qian He can probably give it right back to her. That coupled with these flashbacks add a significant amount of emotional weight to this fight, where it's not just these two characters like, oh, swinging their dicks around like who's stronger, but it's like this is a fight between which of these characters feels like the more deserving member of the Ha family to be a jihad princess, right? Qian He clearly, even in those flashbacks, exemplifies when the person is training Yuri, the person's like, oh, Yuri's a shoo-in. She's gonna be fucking fantastic. She's like 6 and can already kill everybody or whatever. And then Qian He is there like you get that inside of her mind when she's talking to herself, and she's like, oh, this is disgusting. You guys shouldn't do this. You shouldn't just be wildly praising her for no reason. Like she needs, you need hardship, you need skill, you need discipline. That's like, so it's literally these two ideologies that are being brought up, next to each other and opposed to each other, coming from the same family. And like I mentioned before in the last thing, I think that juxtaposition is good because it exemplifies why somebody like Yuri, who is actually while she doesn't follow the whole like fall in line, be, misobedient, say yes to jihad, exemplify like that in and of itself exemplifies what somebody from the Ha family should truly be like, and why that person, if you want somebody as a princess from the Ha family, that's the person you should actually pick over the person who is, you know, more gung-ho to be, you know, next to Jihad's side or follow his orders or whatever.
And the cool thing about it, very well said. The cool thing about it is Chonhee never directly says, I wanted to be a princess or I should have been. But you can totally see the jealousy. You totally see that's what she's thinking, but she never says it. And I really like that subtlety. Like, there's just a lot going on there between the two.
Yeah.
I want to point out, people in chat are writing essays about freaking why Khun should be on the list. Get out of here, guys.
Oh, I saw that. They're like, honestly, the whole arc was centralized around Khun because the plan was to get Khun out of the thing. Newsflash, everyone needed to get the fuck out of there because they were gonna die. Like, what are you talking about? The whole thing was about Khun. Jesus Christ. Listen, Khun's cool and all, but this is what I'm saying, bro. Some of these Khun simps, I love you all to death, but it's like there's Earth, the sun, and then there's Khun, and everything revolves around
I'm going to assume that a large portion of these fools are joking. Because I don't seriously see. Yeah, I don't seriously see anybody making a case for a character who is literally not. That's my thing. I have to assume they're joking because I'm a Khun simp. I get it. You don't need to convince me to simp on Khun, but he's literally not in the arc. He's actually dead. Like, he's just sleeping Beauty style in his lighthouse chamber thing for the entire arc. He's not even mentioned aside from the fact that they're like, oh, Khun, like, we gotta, bring him along with us or whatever. But that
shit's hilarious, bro.
Oh, man.
Literally, they'll find anything.
They'll find all right.
I actually have some I have a hot take here. Hang on. I gotta throw a wrench into this.
What's up?
I actually think that I would put Ivan Kell, and this may be stretching it, fair enough, and maybe Chonhee over Karaka. But I think Ivan Kell would be my first argument.
So you're saying Ivan Kell at 5
and Karaka at 6 or 7, depending on where we go with the conversation. But I don't know. I'm seeing a lot more presence overall in the arc from Ivan Kell. I mean, I would even argue Chonhee as well, than Karaka, all things considered. I think Karaka has a big moment at the end there. Again, it's just this one, it's this one moment. So it's kind of tough as stacked up against all the other events that go down. But I do think that there were a significant amount of flashbacks with Chonhee, and for the reasons you stated, right, with Yuri and her thing. And you obviously Yuri gets more of that spotlight in the end, but I do feel like some of the subtleties and things that we see with Chonhee, whatever the hell, are important, to the arc, and and then also her commanding prowess and all that sort of thing. I thought she was a very standout character personally. And then Ivan Kell, for the reasons that we explained before, kind of like solos everyone, and carries the team significantly. And we really get to see Ivan Kell, like strut her shit in this introduction with the elephant spirit and all of her moves put on display and all that kind of thing. And then also has kind of a similar thing at the end with Karaka, where she's like, all right, Bomb, I'm going to take you on under my tutelage, which is, so again, Karaka, we've had a lot of more build up with him. So I can see where people might be coming from, that it's like, well, Ivan Kell hasn't been riding on this with this team for as long. So like the fact that Karaka has this flip at the end is definitely a justifiable argument. I guess my thing is I'm having trouble justifying if that moment alone beats out Ivan Kell or fucking the Chonhee.
You know what? I think you're right. I think because my other thing is, like, while Ivan Kell hasn't been riding with the group as long, like, again, this is a list about this arc, right? This is a list about what characters in the last station, like, are the top, which ones pull through.
Yeah.
And I think while Karaka has that moment, I do agree that I don't think it stacks up. I don't think it stacks up over Ivan Kell's presence. And I could see him fitting at 6, but if you guys were really feeling strong about even ducking him down to 7, I could see an argument.
Yeah, I would put him at 6 and bump Ivan Kell. Like, I'd swap Ivan Kell and Karaka. My argument for why Karaka should be above Chonhee, I'm gonna put it on the screen. Boom, boom, and boom. You guys will see it soon. That's my argument.
Yeah, just give us like 50
why Karaka should be, because freaking this is the first time that we get the Karaka saying I'm one of his students. Like, Karaka was just as devastated as Bomb was about his supposed death. It's just that Bomb couldn't hide it. Karaka had to hide it and say, hold
That's
on,
fair.
we don't know. You know, but he was still like, I'm one of his students too. And like, that's why he stepped up to fight Calavan. Look at these adorable pictures, bro. Look at these adorable pictures of why Karaka is just as much Jin Sung's son as Bomb is.
Yeah, they're great.
Look at these cute, look at these cute freaking. Okay, that's my argument of why Jin Sung.
Well, hold on. Don't move the pictures because we're lagging behind and I haven't actually seen the
seriously?
pictures.
Oh, I'm
you're
sorry.
talking
All right.
Well, we'll see them even if he moves.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well,
everyone's
all right,
like, I'm confused.
I'm taking away. Look, here's the deal. I mean, my point is that Karaka. This is the first time we get that soft side of Karaka, and it really just it shows that he really is like just a person. He's a human, bro, and he. I don't know, man. Like, I really feel that humanity from Karaka. In this time, it's really lagging that.
Oh shit! Okay, the pictures just popped up for us.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
That's funny.
Look at those.
Yo, that
images.
one with Karaka holding Jin Sung's hand and
like
Bob's
it's a
little
little
baby
kid.
in his thing. That's awesome.
I love it, bro.
Jin Sung's the
karate
best.
pose. That's dope.
That's amazing.
That's why.
Oh,
That's
God.
why. Anyway, so all right.
No, it's fair.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair. I could see
I see it.
at
yeah.
6.
Is this
Like,
fine?
just swap
Okay,
him and
okay.
Yvonne Kell.
Sweet. So
Mhm.
Evan Kell's at 5, Yuri's at 4. Okay, so now we're at the top 3. By the way, I couldn't find the artist for those, but whoever drew those, like freaking you guys, can I hire you permanently? All right, 3, 2, and 1. We got Bomb, Jin Sung, and Calavan. All right, this is one of Bomb's highlight arcs for sure. But I'm gonna come out here with a ranking.
Okay.
All right, this is my
Let it
ranking.
rip.
Shoot.
This is my ranking. I think, if I'm being unbiased, I think it goes Calavan at 3, Jin Sung at 2, Bomb at 1.
Okay. So
Bomb is the one that I'm not sure about. Go ahead.
yeah, no, that's fair. Genuine question besides the fight that goes down with Jin Sung and the backdrop that we see there. Is there more that goes down besides that? And that's not to rank him lower. I'm just trying to get my thoughts together here again so I could, so this makes sense in my mind where people would be going.
You mean with Jin Sung?
Yeah.
Like, what does he do?
Yeah. What is it besides?
He has that whole thing with when Miss Cheney rolls up on his house, basically, with Jihad's army, or a portion of it.
Oh, okay.
And
Was
he
that like
kinda-
the interim arc though? That was like the 3, right? We were talking about this preamble and we weren't including
Oh,
that.
was it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
All right, then I guess it's just his fight with Calavan.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
okay.
just that. But like, there's a lot of emotion and a lot of stuff with Jin Sung that goes down there. I mean, we all love Jin Sung here, and he has never made one of our lists because he's such a great presence, but he has never done enough. And he does so much, even just with that one fight. Because again, it lasts like 10 it lasts a really long time, and even after it's done, his presence still affects the entire arc afterward. And I don't know, man. I think Jin Sung deserves 1 or 2 for sure. 1 or 2. That's my
You said Bam 1, Jin Sung 2, and Calavan 3.
I
Is that what you
guess.
said, Joe?
I mean, chat's like, oh, Calavan at 3. I mean, I think so. Yeah. And I'm someone who loves Calavan. He's one of my top 10 favorite characters. But like, I think that he has a great presence. But I think his real development comes later. That's just me.
Whew.
Hey, I think I could fuck with that. I think I agree. Because yeah, my only contender would be Calavan, but I do agree with
Like above.
you, Joe, that yeah, like because I think Bam at 1 is at least
Oh,
personally
really?
where I'd
Okay.
be set, but between Jin Sung and Calavan, but I do think ultimately, I think Calavan's introduction into this arc is great.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think I think in this arc all we get from Calavan is that is his introduction and his presence. But like once we meet him again in the with the wall and all that, and
Yes.
Nest.
yeah, well, sorry, not the well, not
Oh,
no,
the
no,
wall
before
peaceful
that.
coexistence.
Yeah, with
My bad.
Delmon and
Yeah,
stuff.
you're right.
Oh, okay.
That's where for me like that character starts to stand out and develop and like become something that like I like recognize outside of like big head honcho of Jihad's army. Like I think this arc, because I remember reading it and I was like, okay, Calavan's dope and he's strong, but like there was like no room to like have a conversation with this character outside of like, all right, we're here to fight, like this is Jihad's orders.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just me personally, because I don't jive with these characters like that. He's like the military dog type thing. But I do genuinely think Caliban's development comes later, and that's why I'd probably put him over someone like Jin Sung, where I feel like Jin Sung ends up actually kind of like you said, he doesn't have a large presence in a lot of the arcs that come before this. But I think that's the point, is as the mentor figure, he's supposed to sort of be in the background and like come to help Bam when Bam needs it. But this arc, he sort of ends up actually coming out, putting everything virtually on the line. Because even if he doesn't die, I think he thinks he's gonna die, and it's like it's really only Miss Chenny who's like, oh no, I'll like save him to kidnap him, whatever.
Yes.
But I think I would say Jin Sung too.
That does put a huge emphasis on Jin Sung's sacrifice. He literally thought he was gonna die. He said, "This is it." He had his last cigarette, like that. This was it. Hold on, sorry.
He had his last cigarette.
Yeah, well, because he was eating lollipops.
No,
and
yeah.
then he
it's just funny. It's just funny.
No, I know. But really quick, Ian. Sorry. Some people in the chat. Someone says, "What is this list for?" Or I'm assuming like what are we basing it off of? Character development, presence. Not just screen time, but like how is that screen time used? And like so. I think for Caliban, people in chat are making good points here. We do get his ideals, and we do get, like, with his introduction, we get some of that backstory. We get some of that reasoning for why he did what he did. So it's not that we don't get backstory on Caliban. It's just that later on we get that humanity side to him and like that human side of who he is really. And what I find interesting is a lot of people in chat disagree with the bomb placement, which is interesting. Go ahead, Ian.
So I just actually want to say something here. I'm actually thrown for a loop on this whole thing, and I've been and I'm gonna need some help here with just remembering some of the major things that because at first my gut goes, okay, bomb is bomb. He's had a lot of shit going on, right? He has some crazy moments where he has an immense power up. He kind of goes against Hwaryun's word and goes to save some of the people, even know he has a 0% chance, quote unquote, of succeeding, and winds up going about that route, and then injures Caliban and all that kind of thing. So I definitely see the argument for number one. But that being said, I actually, and this might be a little subjective, I don't know if it's an automatic shoo-in. I'm not gonna lie for him one. And here's even more of a wrench I'm throwing into it here. Y'all are gonna be like, what? But I'm going to be real here. I actually, the more I look at this, think that potentially Yuri has more of a claim to fame than both Jin Sung and Caliban here.
Whoa. Sorry. Go on.
I'm not gonna lie, I do. And I think that I would put Caliban above Jin Sung personally. I'm assuming those two are like almost like a package deal, but I think so. So I should explain myself. Fair enough.
No, that's good.
I think so. One of the things here again, and characters can be a little tough because there is a huge amount of subjectivity that goes into this, right? So fair enough. But one of the things that I look at is obviously their presence on the arc, but I also look at some of the sub themes that go on within the arc and some of the standout narrative plot points that were like, and some of the take home lessons, I guess is the best way I could describe it, that we're supposed to take as viewers. And I think that Yuri does that very well. I mean, she pushes forward the arc, obviously, in huge ways, right? She, if we want to talk about the battle in and of itself, just kind of putting her reputation on the line in order to forward the agenda of Bomb and Company, going strictly against Jihad, and making a show, trying to not make a show about it in front of all the other people that are looking up to Yuri as someone of this symbol, this icon of Jihad and what he represents. So I think there's a lot to go on the line there with Yuri, but I do think that the flashbacks we get with Yuri and some of the things that transpire there really highlight obviously her character in a huge way, but also this kind of big FU to Jihad and everything that's going on. So I think that for me personally, I actually felt that there was a bigger impact on a personal level, if we want to talk about individual character development.
Okay.
Than the two guys there, than Jin-Sung and Caliban. Now again, I'm not totally, you know, like I said, I could see arguments for either.
Okay.
So are you? I'm sorry, Joe. I mean,
No.
So were you making any claims to like numbers? Or are you saying Yuri 3 and like
you're saying Yuri
I don't
2,
know.
right? You're saying Yuri 2, Caliban 1.
I'm saying, yeah, I'm either at, I'm like around like the 2-3 mark there, and then I do think Caliban is above. I think Caliban's above Jin-Sung on this one.
So you were saying like Bam 1, Yuri 2, Caliban 3, and Jin-Sung 4.
All right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I personally am down to bring down Bomb, because the more I think about it, it's like he has some cool moments and he has that emotional reaction, but he is sort of going along with the flow for the rest of the arc. It's not really up until the end. In my opinion, though, Jin-Sung is the best part of this arc. And Sarai says it really well too in the chat. Jin-Sung is basically the reason why Caliban even became a commander, and the motivation for basically mostly everyone this arc. And it's like I'm not saying that, oh, just because Jin-Sung motivated Caliban, he has to be above, but it is worth pointing out that like Caliban's backstory is directly tied in with Jin-Sung, and everything that goes down between the two of them is emotionally connected to Jin-Sung. Then Bomb and Karaka's reactions are to Jin-Sung. Like, everything revolves around him this arc, really. And he is just a supreme badass with his fight. Gets so many cool moments, and there's like 2 or 3 flashbacks with Jin-Sung and Bomb, where there's one where they talk about loneliness. You know, loneliness scares me more than anything too, Jin-Sung says, like, in his mind. And he's like, I wish I could have taught him this last move. And then when he's with Bomb and he's like, fixing his collar, like we mentioned before, he says, be happy. That's why I trained you. It's like, dude.
It's fair. It's fair. Like I said, I'm not dying on the hill. I can see it.
It's just too good.
I can see it.
Sorry, I got.
I actually no. So here's the thing, though. I see that. I see Jin-Sung at 1, but I also see Yuri at 2 now.
Ooh.
And I see. Okay. And 3 and 4 is where I'm contending between Bam and Caliban. Because my thing is, one of the other things that I forgot about, or I didn't forget about, but I neglected to bring it up with Yuri, is one of the other strong points I think she had this arc, and I remember arguing this in our discussion when we read these chapters, is that her decision to go face Jihad at the very end of the arc, despite like not just going with Evan and like running back off with Bam's team, I do genuinely think is a moment of growth for that character, in the sense that Yuri has always been a character that has been doing what she wants to do on her own, like on her own time, right? It's not like, oh, what's the right thing to do? What's the regulated play to make? What's the most logical play? If any of those things line up with something she doesn't want to do, she's probably not going to do it. And that has been a huge defining thing in her character. And whether that, like, for the most part, it's been played up as a flaw, right? Because she's not privy to making plans about things. She's not privy to strategizing. She just runs in, guns blazing, and 9.5 out of 10 times comes out relatively unscathed. We don't know what the ramifications of this, like, of Jihad or whoever learning about this incident are going to be. So for Yuri to willingly give herself up as a prisoner, in the hence of keeping the heat off of Bam's team, off of their back, and sort of separating herself from that situation, I genuinely think is a moment of growth, especially with the whole thing of, like, now that she's basically said, giving Jihad the middle finger here in terms of fighting their team and turning on their alliance here. I could see her at 2, and I could see Jin-Sung at 1 for what you were saying.
I'm torn as hell, bro.
I know.
I honestly,
I'm not gonna lie, it's hard.
I'm down to give Yuri a higher spot, but I genuinely do not believe she should be above Caliban or Jin-Sung. I actually think Bomb could go at 4 and Yuri at 3. I'd be fine with that.
Damn, we're all over the place.
We are all over the place because I was the one who just argued that, but now I'm thinking of it. I'm like, is Bomb really better? I'm thinking like Bomb might be better than Yuri here. I'm just like, I don't know, bro. These are hard ones. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up now. You guys do what you do. I want to say, can we put Yuri at 3? Is that
Is that
I would.
how does that sound?
I think that's fair. She really is one of the highlights for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually here's my list actually, and I know this is kind of backtracking, but I'm just thinking about it more. Oh god damn it. I would say Yuri. All right, I would say Yuri. The argument, okay, the big argument for me is Caliban better than Yuri, or vice versa? This is where it is. Once I get that figured out, I think then I have a better idea. Because listen, I love Caliban. He's dope. But I keep on having to remind myself of that I keep on looking at Caliban in the Wall of Peaceful Coexistence / the Nest aspect, and I keep on forgetting that we're talking about the last station. This is a dude that's really hyped up for sure. He's like Piano Man, like freaking Queen on shredding. Comes out, dude's just exuding chadliness all over the place. Pretty dope. Like all these like super hype moments, and we do get the backstory with Caliban here. But I would make an argument, and again, this is someone that likes Caliban a lot. I would make the argument that what we get with Caliban is hype, right? We get a lot of hype with Caliban. We don't, like, I don't know. I feel like his agenda, his MO, is something that is, it's there, but it's not something that we've never seen before as viewers, for sure. And, it's really like, it didn't, for me, it's like, okay, it's like we see how much of a badass this guy is. But again, if we're ranking this off of, development for the character, their overall, movement for the narrative of this arc, and the sort of impact that they make on everybody else as a whole, or the reverse for character development, I don't know. I don't see a lot of character development from Caliban. Okay. I see what he does for the arc, but I just see it as like this, whoa, back up, here he is, I don't know.
I don't think you need development though. I don't think you need development because this is his first appearance, and so instead of development, we're learning who he is. I think it's sort of like you can't really develop a character if they're just being introduced, right? So instead of being developed, you're learning who he is. And so you get that backstory, you get why he's doing everything he's doing. He's connected to Jin Sung. Then he shows up to fight Bomb. He's talking about this and that and this and that. And then Bomb freaking escapes and he fails. I don't know. I'm reading chat too.
My only thing is,
me too much, but
I don't know if like Caliban's character introduction outweighs, because the other thing is, so the only other character I could argue making in the place of this microphone, like being below in, like, let's say the 4 spot below the 1 and 2 is Caliban or Bam, because I don't think that Caliban's introduction as a character outweighs any of these characters who have had development of their character, because I think that's just a much more interesting and because that's the thing. If Caliban was introduced, and I guess here's the bias, I think Caliban's introduction was hype and it was cool, but I think what we get in the last station is like very basic. It's very like he's the head honcho of Jihad's army or and whatever. There's not a lot of complexity to this character. He is the antagonist. He's supposed to be the wall, the opposing force that Bam has to get through. But like it's not until the I always forgetting it, the wall and the Doan stuff that we see complexity and we see the human side of that character, which is important for the development. But I don't think just his hype introduction outweighs like the development that Jin Sung goes through in this arc with his realization or Yuri's.
I disagree, but I see what you're saying. I think he is a complex character even here, but I can understand why he'd be more like, you could see him as more basic or more one-dimensional. I think he actually is pretty multi-dimensional when he's first introduced, and I think that's kind of like what drew a lot of people to his character, not just the hype, because he's a villain who's not even really a villain like that. He's really someone who does think he's doing the right thing, and you get to see his squad. I'm not going to argue anymore. I think whatever you guys want to do.
Here we go. Bomb 4,
whatever we want to do.
Yuri 3.
Are you sure?
Caliban 2, Jin Sung 1. Yeah, wait. I can see it because I think there's arguments going both ways, and we could get into a whole Caliban debate and discussion here because I actually do see what you're saying, and I think that is some of what drew me to that character too. I would argue that he gets way better development later.
Yeah.
But I do think he has a pretty big freaking presence on the arc. He is one of the standout characters for sure. Like when people talk about the last station, I'm going to assume that one of the first characters that pops into their mind is Caliban there. So I can see that.
If both of you want Caliban lower, like I'm willing to give that up, but you're sure you...
No, yeah, I think that's fine. I think Bomb 4, Yuri 3, Caliban 2, Jinsung 1 would be my thing.
Well, that's not the argument that we were both making, but I will, if that's what you're saying.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, Isaiah, do you want Jinsung at 1?
Oh, Jinsung at 1, yeah. I'm saying you guys are the ones that are saying Caliban at 2, not me. But I'm saying I will coincide like on majority.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we could say Bomb is 4, like, right? We could say Bomb is 4 and Jinsung is 1.
I'm just saying, as long as Ian, like, if you both say Jinsung lower, I can go with the majority. But as long as Ian genuinely wants.
I'm saying Jinsung 1. I was saying Caliban at 4.
No, I know. I'm saying if both of you genuinely think Caliban should be 4.
No, I know, Joe. I'm
3.
sorry. I was telling
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I'm saying
if
you guys are both saying that, I will consider majority.
Okay. My bad. Yeah, I would say Bomb. I would say Bomb 4 in Yuri, or I'm sorry, and Jinsung 1. Again, the argument would be Caliban and Yuri, I guess. I don't know. You know what it is? I'm fucking looking at chat too much.
I know,
is what I'm goddamn doing, honestly. And like people, and like I get it. Like people could throw out shit all the time, but it's like these one note arguments, and it's kind of hard instead of talking it out. So I'm gonna separate myself from chat for just a second, and I'm gonna say that I do stand by some of the things that all the things that I was saying with Yuri, in the sense that I feel I feel like there are more things than just the Jinsung Caliban moment in this arc.
Yes.
There are multiple facets of this arc, multiple narrative being played at, right? We have Soyoung's whole story with that, and just what the hell train, or the last station. I keep on saying the hidden whatever the fuck. The last station is supposed to exemplify. I'm getting these arcs mishmash.
Yeah.
I feel like that is actually a big thing. I do feel like Yuri's thing is a big one too. And kind of going into the history of the Haas, who's deserving to be a princess and why, and how she, puts reputation and life technically, and that reputation on the line, in front of the people that are there clamoring to her because of her princess status, to, in order to help Bomb and further their agenda, which I think is a really big move on her part. And I think for that section of the arc, I think, like I said, there are multiple narratives being portrayed here. I feel like she plays a very strong part in that narrative. Now, the argument would be, if you think that the Caliban Jinsung narrative, and what goes on there is a more important narrative in the grand scheme of things. And I think that's where it comes down to, because I think Yuri does a better job at progressing her narrative, if that makes sense, and what's trying to be conveyed in her subsection of the arc. But I guess if the argument is that the Jinsung Caliban thing takes so much presence on the arc as a whole, that those characters being the driving factors of it make that a thing. And I guess, to fair enough, the more I think about it, when I think about this arc, I'm not as much thinking about Yuri and her sub arc or her sub narrative, so much as I'm thinking of the overall and overarching thing and the overall progression of the story itself. And I guess that's where it comes. When it comes to Caliban, I think he actually is more complex than, maybe, I don't know if complex is the right word, because like I said, we've seen this archetype of character before, right? I kind of refer to it as like the Thanos, the noble villain or something like that, the sympathetic villain, in the sense that it's like, if this was an alternate universe, you actually might not be the bad guy, right? Where it's like, this is where it really questions your morality and your lines of where you draw good, where you draw evil, if you even think that sort of thing exists, if it's a gray area, right? Because I don't think Caliban is inherently good. I don't think he's inherently bad, right? I think there is a misguided sort of ideology that he has, in the sense that he does want peace at the end of the day. And sure, I guess that's noble, but the way, and what we've seen through some of these characters, your Thanoses, etc., that they're going to these absolute extreme situations in order to enact that rule on everyone, whether they want to do that or not, right? And a lot of the times they find themselves to be the noble, heroic person for doing it, because it's like, I'm going to make the hard choice that nobody else could, or I'm going to give up my power, etc. And I think that makes him interesting, and it's cool that we get his backstory and all that kind of thing. So I do think that he's a pretty cool character. But end of the day, I think if I had to choose, I would put him higher because of the overall overarching part of this arc is the Jin Sung Caliban thing and how that affects Bomb. And I think at the end, I guess that beats out Yuri, but by my opinion, a small margin.
Right, and it's not that Yuri. I mean, Yuri does a lot, but I just think this arc is like Caliban. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like this. There's a whole subsection of this arc called Caliban. It's just like, I don't know. I find it hard. One way or another, this was a tough list, actually. I didn't think it'd be really tough. But Yuri's actually higher than I thought she'd be, and I think she deserves it. We got Miseng at 10. Wow, the good old days when we were talking about Miseng and White. White at 9. So Young at 8.
Missed the bottom 5.
Yeah. Chonhee at 7. Croc at 6. Evan Kill at 5. Baum at 4. Yuri at 3. Caliban at 2. Jin Sung at 1. Overall, I like the list. Guys, I mean, chat, we were talking about how we're reading chat too much, but I love the discussion going on in chat about who should be above who. Great stuff there. Okay, so we ranked the characters. Now, we're going to go on a quick 5-minute break, but don't go anywhere because we got some intermission questions for you guys. And also, we're going to do moments and abilities. Our abilities first and then moments. There's only 5 for each, so it's going to go a little faster than that one there. But that was a lot of fun breaking that down. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be back momentarily. Peace. And we're back. We just got back. Ian, perfect timing, literally. All right, we're back. Guys, I actually wasn't paying it. I had to go do something. Did I trick you guys? That's what I want to know. Chat, admit it. Come on, admit it. Come forward. Nah, especially when that's...
We have the evidence. Somebody got stumped.
All right, hey, as long as it was one person.
I'll call out names if I have to.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. I mean, like, okay, guys, are the questions too easy? Do you want us to amp it up? Like, because it's at a point where it's like, okay, I don't want no one to get it right, but at the same time, maybe I should I be asking like crazy hard questions? Is that what you guys want? Let me know. Crazy hard? I'm down for it. Whoa, like different camera.
I think so, Joe. Oh yeah, we're just.
Dude, those posters, I know we've talked about them before. Super cool. Behind you guys, the
oh yeah,
Attack on Titan
they're dope.
and all,
They're really
dude,
dope.
so cool.
They fit our aesthetic very nicely.
Yeah.
You know, color scheme wise.
Super
and yeah, they're just dope shows in their own right.
Awesome.
Hells yeah.
They're saying too easy. Fine. All right. Hey, you guys said it. Next time we do questions, I'm gonna.
Oh
we're
no!
gonna
Now
go
you poke the bear.
Yeah.
We're gonna go like how many times did Kuhn say bomb leading up to freaking floor death?
Yeah, you guys are talking to the winner of the Tower God trivia here. All right, if you want like stupid hard questions,
I mean,
you're gonna get them.
Yeah.
This is the one who knows the name of that one dude who did that thing that nobody knew
Yeah,
about.
Karakachu to do that guy.
I love though how during that when Milios was trying to answer that because it was a stolen question, he freaking almost his answer was Q Q Q Q Q, like that's what he kept using. He was like, oh, it's something like Q Q Q, and I was like, dude, he's so close. Like he actually almost has it. Oh, it's so great. That was so funny. But okay, we're back. We got 2 more rankings to do. We're gonna do abilities next. It's only top 5, so we'll see how it goes. But hopefully you're enjoying the stream, guys. If you are, don't forget to leave a like. I think on the last stream we hit 300. We're on the way.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get there. That'd be super cool. So definitely leave a like if you have not, and go follow the AoA guys. The link is down below because in a week or 2 we're going to be continuing this ranking series on their channel. So definitely be sure to go follow them and check them out. Wow, Sarai actually had it. Kukaku Rakukakuka. Good job, Sarai. Let's freaking go. Hey, Sarai.
I can't, bro.
Dude, but like just looking at this name spelled out, you're not telling me that like that wasn't an afterthought. Like SIU wrote fucking RAKU and he was like, I just repeat that like 3 times. That's basically somebody's name, right?
I mean, why not? Maybe if we ever meet SIU, that'd be my question. What was the inspiration behind that name? He's gonna be like, who? Wait, what? I
yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like we all get one question when we meet him because he's like, you're like, why did this one character? Like, what's up with him?
It'll be like that Dave Chappelle interview when they're like, "Now, Dave, were you high when you canceled the Chappelle show on Comedy Central?" And he goes, "Of course I was high." That'll be SIU. Like, no, were you high?
Yeah.
Of course I was. What are you crazy? You've been asking me that?
Monica B says, do you guys plan another one of those trivia streams? Yes, we are going to do another one, hopefully, at some point. We don't have one planned yet, but we are in the talks. You know, we're figuring that out. We're probably going to do another one sometime within the next few months. So be sure to stay tuned for that. If we do, it'll be from the floor, like post Floor of Death to season 3, like where we are in season 3. So definitely look forward to that. Okay. Let's freaking go. We're on abilities. Top. Oh gosh. Okay. I just got to switch my thing. No problem at all. Boom. All right. We're good. I keep because it's not just in Streamlabs. I forget I have to like go to the next slide. All right. Last station abilities. We got 5 here. Let me read them off. Essence of Bravery. Dragon Tiger Gate Ultimate Flare Wave Explosion. That wasn't even the full move. I just that was the shortened version. Wailing Flames from Evankel. Pollux Well from Dorian Frog, and then the Shinsu Bubble Bathwater, as you guys like to call it, from Yuri Jihad. So these are our 5. And right off the bat, I think the Essence of Bravery is interesting because it's hard to rank something that is like a power-up, because that's essentially what the Essence of Bravery is.
I was literally just about to ask you, I mean, I'm looking it up right now anyway, but like what the hell that does exactly? Because like, yeah, it powers him up, but like what, you know, I guess as a transformation or power-up, like what makes this different from, you know,
I mean,
I guess any other power-up?
It's a tremendous one, okay? It's a big one. If you look at the wiki here, it contains.
All right, fair enough, Joe. Thank you.
It contains apparently all wisdom of fighting. It's sort of like the culmination of like, you know, that vision that Caliban has where he sees that guy and he's like slaughtering people on the battlefields, and he sees that looking. I think it's sort of like some sort of spirit of fighting, the culmination of fighting. What I want to point out, and the Haku of the Tubes has an excellent video about this, the essence of bravery is not actually what it's supposed to be called. It's technically, the literal translation is essence of nothingness, which actually makes a lot more sense, because it isn't about being brave and strong. It's really more about what all of this fighting does. And because when he looked at that guy, he said in his eyes he saw like nothing. Like he became a husk. So it's sort of like, and it implies like, okay, you're using this power that is gained from this crystal, but what's it gonna like lead to, you know? And I think that adds a lot more complexity to what this thing is called. But we still call it Essence of Bravery because, you know, line translated that way. Sure, that's fine. But powers and abilities. He gained a tremendous power that made Jin Sung think he was more than capable of becoming a higher ranker. Caliban was a worthy vessel. His mind and body were so sharply in tune with each other that it gave Jin Sung Ha chills. So there you go. I mean, we don't really know more than that.
That's badass.
It's pretty badass.
Just off like lore alone, bro, I want to put this shit at 1. That's like, that's sick, dude.
I mean, it is pretty dope.
All right, on a real note, though, I can see an argument for 1 on this one. But, all right, can we just get out of the way that the well, I guess, would be at number 5, right? There's 5 we have here.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So let's
I don't want to just like whisk it away. To be fair, it's a really cool power up. We are stacking it against like this. So like shit, look at the picture for half of these, like insane. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool abilities that has, and I do love it just for the creativity aspect of it. I think it's really sweet. We do have the ability to block White's attack, which was something noteworthy with, you know, just in general, the fact that it could summon the frog as someone to come by your side, etc. I guess just in comparison to some of these other abilities, just so everyone knows as well, we like to rank our ability / items off of 3 factors. Utility, so their usefulness when they are utilized, their versatility, so their usefulness in more than just one facet, in multiple situations, right? I need to unlock this door, I need to bonk this guy over the head, I need to fly, whatever, multiple ways, and the power within the arc. So what is the cap of the power that it has within the confines of this arc? So obviously power within the arc, I mean, obviously up against some pretty stiff competition here, but I don't even think it lifts a finger to, you know, some of the other things. No, literally any of the things that we have here. So just for that alone, it's kind of off. In terms of its utility, I mean, it does what it does, but I don't really know what usefulness it has. It seems kind of more like an offense defense weapon. It doesn't, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't, you know, I don't think it does like the added, like you could hop on the frog and then hop around or whatever. Yeah. And then its versatility, frog, sure. I don't know. Its versatility, I don't know how many uses it has in multiple scenarios, I guess is my point. Well, at the end of the day, this seems like a very offense defense weapon. And in that regard, it seems to be outclassed.
Look, I don't like frogs, all right? It's at 5.
Well, okay. I think its most impressive accomplishment, like he blocks White's attack partially, although the frog takes some damage. I think the biggest accomplishment of this thing is it stops the Hell Train.
Stops the Hell Train,
yeah. The Hell Train's moving in, and mucus shoots out of it, and I think another ranker like tackles the train as well, but like, he stops the train. Like, that's kind of a big deal. This train is freaking huge. It's miles long, you know, and he's able to just like, all right, you know, frog, like shoot out your whatever. And anyway, yeah, that being said though, I would agree. I think it does go number 5. Because you're comparing it to freaking the essence of bravery and Evan Kell, and yeah. I like it though a lot. I think it's, and there's
it's awesome for creativity purposes for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just super cool. I want to see Dorian Frog again. Why isn't Dorian... Wait, hold on. Why isn't Dorian Frog at the nest? Because the whole Caliban squadron is all there. Chonhee, Elpathia. Why isn't Dorian Frog there?
It's not?
He hasn't shown up
yet.
Don't
they all get yeeted in the explosion? I thought it was implied that they all died.
Well, no, because that's only the people who are in the ship, which is most of the people.
Oh, I guess he wasn't in the ship.
He's a high ranker though, so like I'm assuming he's out there doing something. I can't imagine he just blows up like that. That'd be crazy.
I don't know. They gave him the flashback, which made me think that he got yeeted.
Well, but in the flashback, it also shows Chon-Hee and Sharon, and they were outside of the ship when it blew up.
That's fair.
So I don't know.
Maybe he's just vibing.
He's vibing.
He might be just vibing.
Yeah, he's just chilling with the frog. You guys hear that? That sounds like an explosion.
It'd be kind of cool if I would like it if like maybe he quit because Caliban wasn't the leader. That'd be kind of dope. I don't know. Anyway, Yuri Bathwater number 4. Let's talk about it first. Let's talk about it first.
I don't know because all right, so the ones that I think are going to be the hardest to rank are Jin Sung and Yvonne Kells, and it's because they are almost exclusively strictly offensive abilities. They have quite literally no purpose in doing anything but attacking somebody. I would say specifically Yvonne Kells. I mean, like, I guess there's an argument to be made that Jin Sung could use that attack to like, but it will no, because it is still an offensive, like it is still to attack or destroy something. Like, you know, you're not teleporting anybody with that thing. So I don't know. I don't know. I have a hard time being like, yeah, they get higher because they're just that much. They're just really strong. Over something like the Shinsu bubbles, which can be used for offense, defense, and movement. Which that right there is like the trifecta in terms of
right. I mean, that's true.
Versatility.
So guys, we are not just going off of power. We're not just going off of which one is gonna beat the other. It is also like.
Yeah, I mean, Essence of Bravery, fair enough, but I feel like, I don't know, and this is what I mean. Like, it's hard for me with these abilities because I don't know specifically like where we kind of had this conversation when we were talking about Yvonne Kell, but I don't know how much of this is like just straight Yvonne Kell, if it's like influenced by the Ancient One's power, if like she can still use that technique, but it wouldn't be on that scale. I don't know. I don't know where this stands. I just know that it was strong enough to wipe out virtually everybody but Caliban at the last station, so it's got to be pretty freaking strong. And Jin Sung's attack damaged Caliban.
I mean,
I don't know if what.
Sorry, your camera's lagging too. I think my internet might be a little bit bad. There we go. You're back. Sorry. I thought you were done. I was just gonna say it literally blows a hole in his body. Like he almost.
Yeah.
died,
Well, that's why I don't know if Jin Sung was holding back, had he not, could that thing have just straight killed Caliban? I don't know exactly. I mean, but just for it to freaking put a donut in Caliban's body, just that in itself is incredibly strong. But like, I don't know if I don't know. I feel weird knocking Yuri's down when it's like crazy versatile. Like you can literally do all three things with it, and it's not true. Weak by any means. She almost like one shots Karaka pretty much with it,
right?
And like the fact that she can use it for that, you can teleport people away. She uses it to save Bam and company in the at the end of the Dollar Show. And it's defensive. She uses it to protect and get away the hostages.
You're right.
Like, I don't know, that amount of crazy versatility is like, I feel weird knocking it lower for that.
She literally like she barely uses the 13 months. She barely uses her other cool weapon, Kranos. This arc is her just throwing bubbles everywhere. So
and it works.
I almost feel like she does it involuntarily half the time. Like she does it unconsciously. All of a sudden she's like, remember we see panel first and she's like over here, then all of a sudden it would like, and all of a sudden bubbles would be on the other side of the map, and you're like, what the hell?
I'm guessing with the hostage thing.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's with the hostage thing, it's implied that she has some level of like conscious control over it, as in like
she does.
She is aware that it's happening, but maybe it's not a thing of like, I don't know, because even on the wiki here, the page that I'm looking at, it says that like there is no clear explanation of the ability itself in terms of like its history or explanation. But yeah, I don't know. It's not nothing, and I do feel like the power that it does pack offensively, again combined with its other versatility, I think would at least for me put it at 3.
Here's my hot take on my rankings. I have them there.
Wow.
I would put the Dragon Tiger Gate at 4. Yuri's Bathwater at 3, Yvonne Kell's Flamey Damey thing at 2, the Wave, the Wailing Flame, and the Essence of Bravery at 1. That's my hot take. Look at Joe,
geez,
bro.
Joe is offended. It's like, Ian, how did you even
Wow.
come up with that
Hold on,
sentence?
hold on.
We got the naked eyes reveal right now.
I think I need to hold on. Am I hearing you guys correctly? Let me check my audio. No, you guys are okay. So, you're crazy.
And I will go, and I will say why. So I think now I know I'm gonna get flack for this because Jin Sung's ability is obviously incredibly powerful. It might be actually the most powerful one, right? The power it shows in the arc in terms of all these. But I actually think for utility, versatility, and its practicality, I actually think that these, and yes, I just injected practicality, but like I got to at this point, because it's like, how often are you going to be able to get these moves off and utilize them consistently in your fights? I think is a thing. And like, if I were to have one of these abilities, and I just think that all things considered, the bathwater loses out eventually, because I do think that eventually the power has to take precedence over it. So I do think while it has a bunch of different uses, if you can't beat a high ranker or some shit with it, eventually it does, you just got to yeet yourself out of there with it and then live to fight another day and use other things. So fair enough. But I do think its practicality does, elevate it. And then I feel like for Yvonne Kell's ability, especially from this picture here, is so insane because of like the fucking range that this thing has. Like Yvonne Kell literally just has to stand there and could just like annihilate you from what seems to be like a mile away. Like literally doesn't even have to be within proximity of you. And this shit like melts rankers. Like, and I'm pretty sure correct me if I'm wrong, fights high rankers as well. Am I wrong in that? Like obviously is winning, melting these mofos. Like that's the thing. It's like if this flame was so much weaker than Jin Sung's ability, where it was like, yeah, sure, she could shoot you from 3 miles away, but it's not actually going to do anything, then fair enough. But I think the fact that this ability is so goddamn powerful and has the range and the AoE effect that it does, like how the fuck do you escape that if not just be stronger than it? You know what I mean? Like it consumes you. Whereas like Jin Sung's ability, you got to be like literally in their face for it to happen. Okay. So like fair enough, he's a fighter and that's how the Haas are. But I just think in terms of practicality, some of the fights that we see with like, we saw Jihad and Bombs thing, we see a lot of these high rankers, like it's not always up in your face. You know what I'm saying? Like I think Jin Sung obviously utilizes his ability well because he's a Ha, but I feel like put in the hands of any random person, like taking the ability by itself, I don't know. I don't think it. I don't know if you can, because
she says Evan Kell. No one's gonna be able to use Evan Kell's flames like she does. You can make the same argument. Here's my argument for the Dragon Tiger Gate. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Okay. So this is the ultimate.
It's dope.
It's a dragon and a tiger, bro. A dragon and one hand. Okay. It is the final version of the flare wave explosion, aka the floral butterfly piercing technique. This is the secret technique of Thug that has been passed down for generations. Okay, because it is a technique that both uses flow control and reverse flow control at the same time to detonate your insides. Now, you can control it to some extent, like Bomb does. Fair enough. Not only is this the floral butterfly piercing technique, it is the final ultimate version of that. The one that Jin Sung Ha always wanted to teach Bomb but couldn't because Bomb isn't capable of it yet. And it blows a hole in Calavan's stomach. It almost kills him. Like, it's that close to killing him. Nothing else that was done previously even came close to damaging Calavan like that. Now, if Evan Kell used her Wailing Flames on Calavan, he would have been like, pew, pew, pew. Okay, and he would have blocked it probably and been like, oh, that's hot. This thing almost killed him. It's like the ultimate technique. It's like almost like the best technique that we've seen in a way. And I'm not saying it's like the number one. I'm just saying that comparatively, this thing is insane, I think.
I would say if you swapped what is this? Fucking name, dude. The Tiger Dragon Fist of Wangcha, whatever it's called. And Yvonne Kell's, that would be, so I would put Yvonne Kell's at 4, the Shinsu Bubbles at 3, the Tiger thing at 2, and this at 1, only because I am reading the wiki again on this flame thing, and it does say that Yvonne Kell needs to partially release the power of the Ancient One to use this technique, which tells me that she's not able to use this on her own. She needs the Ancient One's power is directly relevant to how much of that she can use or for how destructive it can be. That coupled with the fact that if those two moves were stacking them in the range of power, one of those moves does significant damage to Caliban and the other he bails right through. So that telling me I think Caliban has to be the power scale that we're using in the spectrum here, because both of those moves could probably devastate any of the ranker or high rankers that are in this arc.
Yeah.
And Caliban is so he's the max. He's the main contender again if we're judging in this arc. And so I feel like if Yvonne Kell's attack wouldn't damage Caliban, and she technically does need help from the Ancient One's power to even use this thing to the scale she uses it on, and Jin Sung Ha only needs himself, and it can hurt or argue kill Caliban, I would actually say that Yvonne Kell's would be at 4. I'd put the Yuri's Shinsu bubbles just because the versatility on thing is crazy to me. Okay. And again, it is stronger. She basically, if it wasn't for that whole thing with Evan, like would have one-shotted Karaka probably. I mean, he wouldn't be dead, but you get my point.
Yeah, and on that point with the Shinsu bubble, a lot of people in chat were asking us, like, wait, she almost one-shot Karaka? What? Yeah, like, she literally catches Karaka off guard and starts melting him. And he's like, shoot, I gotta go. Like, this is bad. I didn't expect
And he's literally like, he's like ready to drop out of that body. Like, he's ready to do the swap thing because he's like, I'm dead. I'm just straight dead. Like, which is crazy because she fought him in a whole nother arc and they had this long fucking drawn out, fucking Superman to Zod level battle, and she could have just poured her bathwater on him and been done with it. But it's like that again is a crazy, because Karaka's no joke. He's so that level of offensive power combined with defense, being able to protect and move people and instant teleportation, that's crazy to me. In terms of abilities, I'd want that shit if it was the strongest ability or not. But then I would put Jin Sung Ha and the Essence of Bravery, just because again, in terms of power, those things are just busted from what I can tell.
So that's fair, but I will, and I'll concede it because majority rules. But I do want to say something because I will die on this fucking hill, that I will concede it strictly due to the fact that I was not aware that Yvonne Kell has to call upon the Ancient One in order to fully utilize the technique, right? Which I think that is a detractor, right? In the sense that.
Why is that a detractor?
What's that?
Like, I don't even understand.
So I'm looking. I'm looking at a lot of this through the versatility and utility aspect. Okay, you know what?
Like, why does it matter that she has to summon the Ancient? Like,
it doesn't. Fuck it. No, I think it's better. I don't agree. I think Jin Sung's ability is really cool. But if you were to give me, like, if I was in a video game, right? I'm Sung Jin Woo right now, and I'm looking at these 5 abilities, right? And they're like in the order, which ones would you pick? Like, I get where it's like, okay, here's your crystal that makes you virtually unkillable and also a fucking Chad. So have fun with that, right? Like, you're just a tank, you beat the shit out of people and you could virtually not die. Okay, obviously that's my number 1 pick. Okay, that's number 1 for me. But then if you're like, okay, you have the ability to either take a one-shot kill, but you have to be right in this dude's grill, and it is your last ditch move. Like, this is the ultimate thing. There's a wind up to this. You have to have the guy there. You'll probably kill the dude in one shot, provided he doesn't have the goddamn Essence of Bravery. Like that, that's fair. It's your one shot. Or you get this, or if we're taking Yvonne Kells, you get this orb ability, the Wailing Flames, fair enough, because we are just ranking the Wailing Flames, but the ability to basically cover an entire battlefield in fire, and effectively melt roughly 80% of the people that you come across instantaneously, not to mention, go through people. If you come across the Essence of Bravery, get the fuck out of there, you're screwed. Okay, fair enough. I'm spamming the mage ability all day. Like, I'm taking, like, if I have the choice between those two, I am grabbing mage ability, absolutely. Okay. I'm standing in the back of the map and I'm spamming sunballs at people until they die. Like, I'm not taking the ability, you know what I mean, to get right. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think the thing is with combining Jin Sung's Dragon Tiger thing with his, like, the crazy level of resistance his body has, means he doesn't have to worry if people get up in his grill in response, unless you're Caliban. And the other thing is, again, if Yvonne Kell's skill, Ancient One or not, just purely isn't stronger than this ability, it almost doesn't matter, because you could spam that thing all day. But if you're stacking that ability up to this one, he gets through those flames and hits you with this, you're still done.
But I think one thing to consider here is that we're ranking the ability / item, we're not necessarily coming down to, I understand the user has relevance, but it's more about the ability more so than the user of it, right? So like if Jin Sung Ha, if like he's not the one to use this technique, but it was still used in this arc, I would still wager that we'd put this ability in the top 5, right? So like for me, I'm not necessarily gauging, well, Jin Sung's a tank and he could probably get in close enough. I'm judging the ability just straight up.
But I think, we've been doing that for the most part here, where you have to take into account the way it was used, not the ability by itself, because that's like saying the Thorn's going to get number 1 on every list it's on because the Thorn is dope. But you have to take into account how whoever has the Thorn, most of them, use his ability. So
I think
the implication is that whoever, if you know this ability, you are probably strong enough to where you could, like, you don't have to worry about getting, one-shotted by this Wailing Flame ability.
I don't know. I feel like even taking the Thorn example, like we've taken the Thorn example and ranked it lower, but not just because it's bomb per se, but it's because of what the Thorn did in that moment. Are you raising your hand, Joe? Go ahead,
right.
shoot.
You in the back of the class.
So,
what do you got?
Why has Fug for generations taught their slayers this move? Why for generations? And most of them have not been able to master it. But if you have, it's crazy. Why haven't they been teaching them this an crazy AoE move or something? Like, this is the only Fug technique, and it's been here for thousands of years. And this
Very
is the
valid argument.
Ultimate version of it. So like, this thing is not just like, sure, it is more niche, more specific, but they're teaching it to these people because this can take out pretty much anyone. Calavan, special case with the Essence of Bravery, and he still almost died. Like, it took out, like, almost killed him, even with the Essence of Bravery, So, I see that, and I'm like, okay, this technique is a big deal. It's a big deal. Evan kills Wailing Flames, it's like one of her abilities, and it's crazy, but, like, stacked up against the ultimate version of the Floral Butterfly Piercing technique, like, I don't know.
So that it's a valid argument that Fug teaches their people, and that's what I was saying before. When I was willing to concede that Yvonne Kell's ability would go lower, it was because of the fact that, Yvonne Kell needed external factors, i.e. the Ancient One, in order to fully utilize the ability. But then when you kicked me back into my senses and you were like, well, what does that matter? I had to remember, I was like, yeah, you're right. We are talking about the ability as a whole. It doesn't actually matter like who's using it and the circumstances needed. Well, it does in a sense, but like the fact is that we're talking about, in the abstract, we're talking about the Wailing Flames ability. And so that's my thing, right? Like, I'm sure if people had the ability to learn the Wailing Flames on that level, not everyone has an Ancient One in them. So that was my initial point, that I was like, okay, fair enough, Yvonne Kell's a special case. But I think taking this ability as it is itself, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to say that anyone who's capable of learning a move like that or can use it we'd forgo teaching it in lieu of the butterfly piercing technique. I think the piercing technique, from what I've seen, is something that can be taught to not anyone per se. Like, you have to have a mastery of yourself and martial arts, but you don't have to have a flaming elephant living inside of you, right? Like, it seems to be that a lot of people in Fug, regardless of, where you come from and what the deal is, hey, if you master your body and mind, if you master Shinsu, if you master martial arts on this level, you too can come close or utilize this move in one of its various forms. Jin Sung seems to be at the pinnacle of that, but that's just the thing. I think they teach that because of the moves, the move can be utilized by multiple people. Again, Yvonne Kell's a special case, so that's why they're not, it's a very specific move to her because of the elephant, because of the spirit that she has inside of her, right? We don't see later on a bunch of people using the forest move that the Minotaur fucking buffalo shoots out of its mouth when the the fate guy from Fug comes into the fray, so, but like, you don't see him, he's an elder Fug, you don't see him relying on the floral butterfly, right? Like, he's using that. I guess my point is that, like, it's nice to have like a one-shot kill ability, but it's just, in terms of practicality, it's like, yeah, I could have the best ability ever, but like, do you really, like, if compared, do you really need that much overkill a lot of times, rather than just having the ability to just like wipe the field 80-90% of the time in one shot? You know what I mean? Like, that's my thing. Like, if I had the ability to be like, okay, I have an AoE effect that deals 3,000 damage to everyone. You might not wipe out everyone because some of these high rankers have 4,000 health or whatever. I'm thinking of it in video game terms.
No,
versus
okay.
you have an ability that does 10,000 damage, but it's probably a one-shot deal, and you got to be right in the guy's face.
Okay.
Like I'm gonna spam the orb.
I
That's
can concede that. My last point that I'm gonna make is, even within the confines of the story, or even outside, like, which ability is more treasured? Which one is more like which one has a higher value of like importance? Like I feel like there's a reason why this move has been so treasured, and we've seen it throughout the entire series, and this is just like the pinnacle of it. And I feel like it's just, even if someone was to ask like Bomb or Evankel, like, oh, which one, like which move is more important? If we had to get rid of one of them, which one are we gonna get rid of? They'd probably say Wailing Flames. Like that's the one that they can sacrifice, because there's nothing like this move. The Wailing Flames, it's like, yes, but like, is it gonna be the end of the world if you don't have Wailing Flames? You can find something else maybe. I don't know. That's kind of a weak argument.
All right.
But that's my last
Joe,
point.
well, where would you put these? Because I think we've all given our points here. What would you rate? What would you rate, and what are we?
This is kind of, well, okay. After hearing all that, I'd probably go I'd probably go Shinsu Bubble 4, Wailing Flames 3, Dragon Tiger Gate 2, Essence of Bravery 1. That's my ranking.
Okay.
Okay.
I would go Bathwater 4, Tiger 3, Flames 2, Bravery 1.
Wait, I'm sorry. Joe, what was yours again?
We were the same, but I had Bubble at 4, Evankel at 3, Dragon Tiger at 2, Essence of Bravery at 1.
Okay, we're still at odds, because I would do Essence 1, Tiger 2, Bubble 3, and Evankel 4.
Okay. Well, we can at least majority rule Essence at 1, Dragon Tiger at 2.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, it sounds like Isaiah and I are.
It technically wouldn't be majority, but yeah, I think the one thing that we could agree on majority is the Essence of Bravery at 1.
Wait.
Or I'm sorry. I thought you meant like all of us. Yeah, you said the Tiger at 2. My bad. All right, then yeah, you guys got it there. Fair enough.
But I would place Evankel above the Bubbles, though, after hearing everything that Ian had to say.
I agree with that.
All right.
The Bubbles are maneuverable, though, and freaking. I just have to imagine. I don't know. I can't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh my god, bro.
Interesting ranking. That actually, a lot of points I never thought about with all these moves. A lot of things I hadn't considered. So, okay, I guess this is our final ranking. I'm curious what chat has to say, or the comments below. But we have Pollux Well at 5. We have Yuri's Shinsu Bubble at 4. Evankel's Wailing Flames at 3. Jinsung's Dragon Tiger Gate Ultimate Flare Wave Explosion Transcendental Skill at 2. And I mean, also it has a long name. I forgot to mention that. That's also a plus towards how good it is.
No,
and then at number 1, number 1, we got Essence of Bravery. All right, that is our ranking for abilities and items. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Okay, we have one more ranking left. We got one more quick break. One more chance for you guys to prove me wrong that you know your Tower of God knowledge, because personally, I think some of you are going to get these wrong, but prove me wrong. We'll see how that goes. Also, the video might be messed up. I'm going to fix it right away if it is. But we'll see. All right, don't go anywhere. We got moments. We're going to rank moments. All right, guys. See you in 5 minutes. Peace.
and then as I got older, obviously things happened and I didn't play it as frequently, but I would find myself coming back to it, just at random times. I'd be like, let me just pick up this game again, or whatever the case might be. Yeah. And now that I'm older, like I'm way more into the competitive side of it, because it's like the games, quite frankly, are like pretty easy. I mean, like I have to challenge myself and make myself play like a Nuzlocke mode or something like that in order to really like challenge myself. But that's what I like about it now. And sometimes I'll just like look at like what's going on with that. But like I said, I kind of hopped off after they switched their style, but I'm looking to kind of, relive that experience again.
Do you play the new ones, Joe?
Well, I played Sword and Shield, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was kind of easy. And I'm with Ian pretty much. I think it's just easy. It was fun though. I enjoyed it. I also am sort of, well, not so much lately, but I have been into competitive Pokemon as well. So I use Pokemon Showdown usually. There were times when I'd make a team on Pokemon Showdown and just challenge people and just see if it worked. If you don't know, that's like a website that is it's free to use, and basically you can just make your team and just go battle people competitively.
Yeah. And, bet that's cool.
Yeah. But anyway, dude, bring it on. Any kind of Pokemon collab. I'm down for like, cool. I've done like Nuzlocke races too, like who can beat the game faster, things like that. Yeah. I'm down for whatever, honestly. I love Pokemon, bro. Anyway,
they need to make.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, we've been talking while we're back.
I was so feeling this Pokemon.
Like, another thing they could do is like.
And Joe's like, I don't even want to be here. Okay.
No, that's not true. That is not true. I was just making sure you knew we were back. They should do a multiplayer. They should. Anyway.
Yeah, Temtem.
Oh yeah, I've been playing it with my girlfriend actually. We're doing like co-op, and Temtem's fun. Okay, we're back, guys. Station. Is this a Pokemon channel now? What's going on? We're back with last station rankings. We're doing moments. This is our last ranking, moments. Now, I want to point out, okay, yes, I did make a slight error with question 8. Question 8 was who was not present to receive Jahaj's 3 orders, and the correct answer is Chonhee. Chonhee was not present, but then I realized Stuart Arthur, technically not present at the moment, but he is like the Supreme Alter guy, so whatever, I made a mistake there. Technically, he wasn't there either, my bad. But then, question 9, I got a lot of people wrong. And you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. AoA.
Yes.
What is the last line of season 2? I'm gonna give you your options, okay? This is the one that tripped them. And I'm gonna prove that this was a good question. It got a lot of them got it wrong.
To be fair, I'm pretty stupid, so I don't know if asking me is good proof.
Okay, asking you on the spot.
Because I get even the stupid shit wrong. Who's part of the Coon family? Rack. Next question.
Oh, there you go. Hold on, just really quick. Is it A, I'm going to hunt down Colavan. B, a rift began to form. C, I'll grant you 3 wishes. Or D, a new wave gradually began to stir. So A, I'm gonna hunt down Colavan. B, a rift began to form. C, I'll grant you 3 wishes. Or D, a new wave gradually began to stir. Which one? Just shoot. Fire off.
I think it's A.
I'm gonna hunt down
My
Colavan.
gut goes with D, but I feel like that was the trick question.
Yeah, because the season doesn't actually end with that speech. The speech happens, and then Rack has a convo with Bam. And I'm pretty sure that's like literally the last thing to happen. So logic would dictate that the last line is probably whatever Bam says in response to Rack's speech, right? Maybe.
B?
Good logic. Oh, okay.
Let's just throw out B.
A rift began to form. Okay.
A rift began to form, right?
So, interestingly enough, the correct answer is D. A new wave gradually began to stir. Because, and you're right, you are right, but that speech, that whole like monologue is happening while Bomb is talking to Rack, and then he goes into the room with Evan Kell, and he says, I'll hunt down Colavan, and then it ends with a new wave gradually began to stir.
Oh, okay, but like, come on.
It's a good question. It was obviously tough.
No,
I was proud of
that
question.
I tricked myself, because I'm like, that couldn't be the obvious answer.
I just already see myself getting that wrong on a test. I'm like, all right, teach though, like for real, I basically had it right though. Like, where's my half point? Like,
I want extra credit.
Extra credit. Yeah, I was, okay. Apparently a lot of people, I got that wrong, so that was a good question. Let's go. All right, moments. Guys, we have our, okay, I gotta switch the slide. I'm never gonna remember to do that. Holy freaking, okay. Our 5 moments are Okay, no, I also want to point out that these might not be the top 5, but these were the 5 that I could think of. And if you guys think of a different one, I mean, these are the 5 we're going with. All right, Jin Sung's sacrifice flashback, Misang matures, White's entrance, Gustang's grand arrival, and Rack's hunting speech. Now you guys might be saying, well, what about Yuri and Chonhee and Jin Sung? It's because those were a part of the fights and a part of the characters. I just genuinely thought these moments, as all-around moments, stood out. But I will say that this was our most, like, we didn't have as much time to think about this these 5, but we're going with these 5. I don't care what y'all say. Moving on. All right, what are we doing? What do you guys think?
Tell him, Joe.
Yeah.
Wait, can you repeat it one more time just so I could star the ones?
Jin Sung's sacrifice flashback.
Yeah.
Misang matures.
Mm-hmm.
White's entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Gustang's grand arrival.
Mm-hmm.
And Rack's hunting speech.
Dude, that shot of B-Sig, bro.
I know, right?
Where?
She just looked, she's thugging, bro.
Oh, shit. I didn't even recognize her. I was like, who's that?
She's out for blood.
She punches him and his teeth go flying. Like, she literally punches the teeth out of the guy. It's crazy.
Holy crap.
She said, show me your face. Shit.
Okay.
Whew.
Sarai says Bomb's moment with Shibisu. That is actually true. I love that scene where he's crying because of Jin Sung and Shibisu just holding him. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Shibisu.
I mean, it's hard because it's not really. It's just a panel, but man, that panel hits, and you see Bomb just bawling his eyes out in Shibisu's arms.
You know what's funny about the moments thing is sometimes we'll do this list and it's like, dude, the moment that Jin Sung has with Bam. That's like X amount of panels long, and the story clearly makes a point to hinder on as a level of importance was so touching. And then somebody be like, when Rack subs his toe though, honestly, like I laughed my ass off. And it's like, what was that? Like a panel in this, like, it's like what people constitute as a moment always astounds me. And I'm like, is that a moment or is that just something that happened?
That's true.
Collection of moments. Is it a moment worth talking about? I guess that's really the question, right?
Yeah. Someone says, did you include Bomb versus Rachel in the last ranking? So that was an in-between arc, so we couldn't really rank everything that happened during 3 orders because we felt like it was too short to rank. But that moment probably would have been number 1. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and say Misang probably at number 5. I'm just glad, again, that she's getting something in this arc. But
what was this white one is just like when White when he transforms?
Right, it's his first time being White. He steps out of the train, he turns over, he looks beautiful. You know, and he's like, I forget what he says, but it's freaking glorious. It's just glorious, bro.
It doesn't matter.
He's like,
it
I'm fucking hot.
Matter.
Anyway, moving on.
Looking in the mirror and they're like, hey, and he's like, what? Oh, he's so beautiful. Lay down your weapons. Give him what he wants.
Cease fire.
And he shows him the feet. It's all over.
Oh, dude, it's over. But yeah. So even if the White moment doesn't go super high, I do think it does top the Misang moment personally.
When White comes out of the train and is White,
yes,
does he immediately just like, delete someone? Like, does he immediately just
much.
like and just does it?
I would count that as part of his arrival or his entrance.
Okay.
Even though it's like
that's
technically not right away. He steps out.
Okay.
Dorian Frog's like, who the frick? And then he's like, I'm White. And then he just annihilates like 2 rankers like soon afterward.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're including that, then yeah, I think it's higher than Misang's moment. If we weren't including that, then no.
I just want to point out that I'm offended that you took Yuri's speech off of this list. I caught that.
Now,
don't worry.
All right.
Don't worry.
Now,
I'm watching you.
Okay. All right. Fine. I have no defense.
And I just want you to know I'm not happy with any of it at all. I won't agree, and all of this is not canon until it comes
That's
back
not
on.
canon. All right. My bad. Well,
Cool.
There's a lot of good moments, and it was hard for me to at the last minute just gather together 5. I kept going back and forth too.
What we call an excuse, all right?
All right, whatever. Shut up. All right, White at number 4. Okay, so let's debate then. We got the Jin Sung flashback. We got Gustang. Okay, I think Gustang's grand arrival is pretty freaking hype because it's out of nowhere, and he just comes in, and it's cool because Chonhee is on her ship, and this is a big ship, right? When Gustang arrives with his like fleet. His main ship is like 100 times the size of her ship. And it's this crazy panel where it's this gigantic palace floating in the air above this ship, and he just has all his dudes, you know. Some are giant, some are crazy, you know, and he's just like, I'm Gustang. And
They're all crazy.
His messenger goes out for him and says like, I'm not worthy of speaking you're not worthy of speaking his name, and like blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, holy frick, this arrival is crazy. That's all I had to say.
Yeah. We'll get to that one.
White is weird because it's kind of like the thing that I think, what do we do? Not fight. Well, yeah. Fights.
Character or whatever.
Well, no,
right?
fights when we were talking about White and the fact that it's like, oh, he has the fight with Dorian, but it's kind of like he hits him with this really flashy attack and then that's it. Right. It's like White is so hard to judge in these specific arcs leading up to the Nest because it's like, it really is like, he puts in like one solid right hook and then just dips. Like it's so like I'm like I guess I could ultimately coincide that just because of like what it means, exactly. I would probably put it above Me's thing. But it's like, God, this nigga's just giving us bare bones shit, bro. Like he literally comes in with like a solid one-liner and then just goes to sleep. And it's like he just
takes a breadcrumb and he's like, deal with it. Peasants.
Yeah. What is it? The cage? He's like literally sleeping. It's like because he got so tired because he exhausted himself. And I'm like, White just cracks me up, bro, because it's like so hard to rank it because I'm like, he got that one good thing in, but then I'm like, then he literally cashes out immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even like, okay, but that aside, yeah, I would probably put it at 4. I agree over me saying at 5 because love the girl, but you know,
I could see an argument for a swap, but it's not a hill I'm trying to die on, so I think that's fine.
I just think this moment, I mean, we have to remember too, not that we have to rank it just because of this, but it is the first time we're seeing White. Pretty much not at his prime, but in all of his glory, certainly. He looks, I mean, dude, do you see this panel? Look at this panel and tell me you did not feel something that you didn't think you would ever feel.
He's hot, okay? I'm just saying.
He's pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so, okay, that means we have Gustang's grand arrival, Rack's hunting speech, and then the Jinsung flashback. Now, with the Jinsung flashback, I'm particularly thinking of when he's like, I'm never going to see, he's like about to give his life pretty much, and he's like, he thinks back to this moment with the collar. This is the collar moment where he says, you don't have to come back, you know, and because I just want you to be happy, that's what I trained you for. That's the flashback I'm thinking of, which is actually technically
repeating that line.
It's so great.
So good.
And that's actually when Baum is fighting Calavan, and Baum remembers this moment. So it's kind of like a moment where Jinsung and Baum connect with each other, because Jinsung remembers a similar moment. So it's really yeah.
Here's my hot take. I think that moment is number 1. Jinsung's sacrifice. I think Rack's moment is number 2, and I think Gustang's arrival is number 3.
Well, okay. I was gonna say I don't think it's a hot take at all, but I guess that's because I agree.
Fair enough.
But I don't think it's. I mean, Jinsung's moment. I think we can all agree that it's one. Bro. Like that is top moment action. So yeah, I guess the contender is between Rack's speech and Gustang's family's arrival, which I feel like I would also say Rack's speech goes at 2, just because maybe it's tough because. The arrival of Gustang's family is impressive, and it leaves a much bigger impact on the audience, I think, and me specifically, than it did when just he showed up in the Floor of Death.
Right.
Because there was really like no context behind. Like we knew he was one of the 10 heads because we actually met him way before in the workshop battle. But it was kind of like, okay, he's here. We know he's stronger than White, but it's like, what is he doing? I don't know. There was like a lot more vagueness to his introduction in the Floor of Death, where it's like here he's like stepping up with his whole fucking squad.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're getting ready to gear up for war. He's kind of like showing us his artillery here, all his home. Like this is it. This is definitely like a much more efficient entrance. But I will say personally, I think it is just a character thing where it's like, it means so much more to like me as a viewer to have Rack make the speech he does when he makes it, because it's such it is a moment that I think just naturally leaves a bigger impact because Rack is the one doing it. He's doing it for Bam, and it's at a moment, and it's a moment that literally like launches Bam's characterization, right? Like that's what gets him over the hill he's on now. Is he's got power, but he like doesn't really want to fight unless he has to. This is the moment where Rack's like, no, you got strength, but like you need to become a hunter. You need to be a predator, like you know. And that's where Bam needs to go next with his characters. He needs to start learning how to like aggressively, you could argue, or preemptively, like go after his opponents and go after his targets. And I think that means so much more for the future of the story. And sure, you could argue that the Gustang's family arriving also means a lot for the story, but the impact of why that family is here and what they're going to do, you don't actually see until, well, actually, I would argue that we haven't really seen it yet, because he said the thing with Rachel, but like we haven't, there's been no specific payoff to that. And you know what I mean? Like where it's like that moment is a perfect moment, like talking about Rack's speech, to end season 2 on, because it is a perfect way to summarize like what this character's flaw, like bam, as of right now is, where he needs to go, and how that ends up pushing him forward. Where it's like the Gustang the Gustang's arrival is cool, but it feels like setup for something much bigger, right? Like when his family eventually does roll up on whoever they do, whenever they show up, like then you're going to be like, oh shit, like because I remember they're all here now, or X, Y, and Z people are trying to do this thing. But that's my thing.
I agree. I think the biggest thing with Rack is that it is coming from him, and he's someone who, he's there, but it's like it's rare to get a moment like that from him where he's actually giving advice to someone like Bomb, and Bomb's taking it to heart, because Bomb's at a point where he's so torn up about everything. He knows his master, he learns his master's alive eventually, but still, to find out that, we talk about how the Jin Sung thing, it still led to Jin Sung not literally losing his arms, but he does lose his arms. Like, he cannot fight anymore, at least with his hands. And it's like, he's at a point where he doesn't know what to think, and then Rack steps in and he's like, what are you doing? Like, we gotta hunt, like, you're a hunter. You gotta be a hunter. And it's so strange because we associate Rack with like, oh, he's just a funny little crocodile. This speech really does get to Bomb, and it's a very serious moment, even if it is coming from someone who's mostly funny or whatever you want to say. And I just think that makes it hit harder. It's like right at the end of season 2, we're pretty much ending with that speech, and it's like, bro, it really is such a solid moment. And I like your points about the Gusting arrival. I totally agree. So I'm down, bro.
Yeah.
I'm down with that placement.
Yeah, that's good. And just this is just, I want to highlight, like, this is one of this moment for Rack in particular, who, if you watched our final discussion when we caught up, I believe is a character that got a little shafted, which might be a hot take throughout the course of this story.
It's not.
For more reasons than most people agree. Okay, fair enough. Some people might. I know we had some talk about it in the discussion, but so to see him do this specifically, like you said, and I think that Rack is, maybe intelligence isn't the right word, but has more savvy than some people might give him credit for. So it's pretty cool to see that laid out. We're just so used to these big, crazy, robust plans that we have, through Kun or Huarun or whoever, right? Where it's like, I'm going to move my pawn here, you move your rook here, I move my bishop here. This is how it's all going to fall into place. But Rack has a different sort of ingenuity and craftiness to him when it comes to instinctual, endeavors. And so I think it's pretty cool to see, in a cool contrast, to some of the standard stuff that we see throughout the course of the story. So it's always a nice heartfelt moment when we see Rack get his moments, just in general. So just want to throw that out there.
I agree.
We're all in agreement.
Yeah, that was actually, we all agreed. I don't think we really debated about a single thing. Wow, we're doing great stuff here.
Yeah, but I totally think Yuri's flashback should be on this list.
Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching.
Nothing's perfect. I get it.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't like Gustang, so I want his moment to be at number 5.
Bro, why do you hate Gustang? Gustang is he's a Chad,
so
bro.
overrated.
He's the best. Oh,
he's just a freaking douche.
I mean, yeah, but like, that's kind of why he's cool. Anyway, so
he's a joke. All right, I'm just gonna we're gonna hang out.
Hey,
we're just gonna bring a bunch of bullies on.
White.
I'm sure you'll
why do
find
people
all those
like white? Why do
people
people like white? Why do people like white, Ian? Why?
I don't like white.
Yes, you do.
People.
You literally said you do recently.
White's aesthetic is cool. Okay.
No, you
white,
were like,
go
I
back
like his
on
aesthetic.
this.
Then you're like, wait, I also kind of like the way he
In
like
your
acts
last
in his part. You're like, I
reaction-
think I just like white.
Yeah,
No, I didn't
you
say
did
I
say-
like the way that. I didn't say I like that.
You
I like his
did, you
personality. No, I did not.
Well,
I did
You don't
not.
have to
I
like
said
his personality.
the
You
episode.
said I've
go
started to
for
like
it.
white.
I don't. I think he's a
Find the
scumbag,
clip,
but I
clip
think
it.
he has a cool presence on panel.
you don't
I think
have
he's
to
got a cool presence on panel.
You don't have
and
to
I can
like
see why
somebody's
people like him.
personality. Like,
We
okay,
go backtracking, my friend.
I like
No way.
White because he's kind of the worst, and he's mean to everybody, and he owns it. He owns it, and it's like, dude, that's what I like about him. Now, it's not that I approve of that behavior. It's just that White can pull it off, I guess.
You know what it is? In like it's fun. It's fun for stories because like if everybody does like the noble, honest Boy Scout thing, like bam, like God, wouldn't that be boring? It's fun to have characters that are like, no, let's make things a little bit more interesting. Let's have this character be honest, but be a dirtbag, but like be a dirtbag, but be honest about it, and like not sugarcoat shit, not try to do the Rachel like lying, backstabbing, you know, say that I'm gonna do one, like, you know what I mean? There's an honesty to his nefariousness that you don't have to approve of his villainy, but like his characterization, the way that comes across with his personality, absolutely joy to watch or read.
Exactly. It's fun.
Something like that.
It's fun. That's a good way to put it. But anyway, guys, that is our last station ranking. We are done with season 2. Hey guys, I mean, we've been doing this ranking series for a long time. We've changed up the format a lot. Here we are. We reached the end of season 2. That's let's give ourselves a little clap there, because that's great.
Slow clap.
Yeah. So we only have a couple arcs left, and we're gonna be done. And actually, it's perfect timing because we're probably gonna be finishing up this ranking series like right as Tower of God returns. I didn't even realize how perfect that lined up, but that works out really well. Overall, thanks for watching, everybody. Actually, AoA guys, what are you gonna do when Tower of God returns? Like, what is gonna be your? Are you gonna be doing like a weekly reaction, just so everybody knows here and they can go subscribe to you for that reason?
Well, to tell you the truth, we are still talking about it. We have not 100% narrowed down how we want to cover it. We just know that we will in some capacity. But you know, I don't know. I imagine with it coming out weekly, we will, you know, do some form of reactionary thing and talk about it. We just don't know in what way. If we're going to do some of it live, some of it recorded. You know, we don't really know yet. But
Sure,
we will be covering it in some way, shape, or form.
It also opens the door too, because I saw this kind of got me thinking with some of the comments in here in chat. They were saying, hey, rank the 10 great families or rank some of the best plans in Tower God, and they were coming up with all these ideas. Now that we are caught up, in our Discord, we are open to suggestions. We have a general feedback or new video ideas tab in there. If you guys want to put forward any sort of suggestions for us in Tower of God, it kind of, like I said, it popped the lid off of it. So now that we're caught up, we can really kind of do anything. So it'd be nice to know what you guys want to watch as well. In terms of the new chapters coming out, you know, again, like Isaiah said, we're not totally on, you know, totally solidified on what we're doing, but I'm assuming we're going to want to cover it pretty, you know, we want to be relevant with it, like, you know, and we want to do it timely, you know what I'm saying?
Sure,
So I'm assuming it'll be like one, you know, we'll cover it as they come, to be on time. So, but yeah, any suggestions are welcome. I know a lot of people were like, react to some of your voiceover videos, I know people were saying, or react to you know, the top rankings of like, you know, the X 20 people in the tower, or something like that. There was some article there, a bunch of different stuff that people were putting forward. So we could definitely do that, you know, along with covering all the other things that we are doing just in general.
I personally, I think it'd be super cool if you guys reacted to the K4 KOC, his videos, at least the two that he made, Jinsung versus Caliban and Jinsung versus Bomb. You can even put it in one video or whatever, but it's just really fun. And I'm obviously biased, but it's just like, I don't know, they're really fun videos. And I think me and the team that we got together did a really good job with the voices and with the animation. So one way or another, they're making Tower of God content, so definitely go check them out. They're making other anime content. The link is down below. And just thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like before you go. We're currently we're only like 13 likes away from 300. So, I mean, I'm just saying, you know, a couple more. Come on. Can we hit 300? That'd be super cool. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Good for the soul, guys. It's
good for the soul, especially, for sure. All right. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you next time. Next stream will be on the AoA channel, so definitely stay tuned for that. Bye-bye.
Peace.
All right, I don't want to end it like abruptly. I love what we say. I never know how to. Okay, I'm gonna hit end stream in 10. It's because I don't know. I'm still learning how to stream, bro. I stream so much and I still don't even.